Oh man, some CJ here. Man, that's been a minute. Good to see you, CJ. Alrighty, and here we go. Good to have you all here as we get into week 3 of the Champions of the Rift. It's sure to be a good time. A lot of exciting things coming our way as we are now 3 weeks in. So we have some good leaderboards to take a look at because we've had a lot of competitors that have been able to get into this. Let me go ahead and see on what I could do there. Let me see. 1 second. Okay. There you go. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting tournament because there's a lot to be seen here. There's a lot of competition and things are heating up as people are trying to get to the top spots to qualify for the end of season tournament. That is going to be, of course, at the end of the season, and it's going to be the top 16 are going to be able to qualify. So how do you do that? Well, every single week on Tuesday, we have tournaments just like this that are going to be 4 rounds long. Depending on what place you come in, will allow you to accumulate points, which will be added to the leaderboard. If you end up getting first every week, well, you're going to qualify at the top spot. That's just how it is. And if you end up just even showing up a little bit, then there is still a decent chance that you might be able to break into the top 16. So that's going to be the big thing in question here. What is going to then be coming of this? And I'm going to be excited to see what it is going to be. Oh man, did we? No, we haven't been starting yet. I didn't do barfling yet for you, Tara. I haven't done that yet. I also do a shuffle before. So let me see. Did it randomly pair you? It shouldn't have yet. No, you're mystery potato right now. But I do a random shuffle right before start. So anyway, guys, yeah, I'll joke with you on that, Tara, 100%, because I know how you feel. But yeah, it's going to be a really good time, guys. We've had some really fun weeks so far. Thank you so much for the follow there, Sexy Sparta. Good to see you. But yeah, this is going to be a really fun tournament. And again, this is open to anyone and everyone as long as you have a somewhat familiarity with where we play with, which is TCG Arena. So we'll see what ends up happening. Sparta, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Good to have you here. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of work. Didn't do a video today, but that's mainly because, gosh, when you're doing a video and a tournament, it gets to be a lot. Anyway, so with that being said, I think we are at 3 minutes before, so I'm going to do one shuffle real quick, and then let's take a look at the tournament itself. So, first and foremost, we do have the bracket up here, and this is who we have signed up so far. Now, we have 22 competitors that are here, which is super fun to see. And a lot of these are, people that we have seen in the past, and one we are still, of course, waiting to check in. But a total of 22 people are a part of this tournament. Likewise, we also even have the leaderboard that is up so far. Should have moved that a tiny bit over. That would help. Anyway, so with this, Zebro is currently at number 1, then Battle Tested and Terra. So Brocane has had some really good showings, and Corey Millhouse and a bunch of others have done great so far. But you get to see their actual win-loss records. Zebro has not been defeated yet, so something to keep in mind there. And it's been an interesting set of tournaments here because we have a lot of people who haven't played we're not Draven heavy, which is really surprising. Love to see that. And so, yeah, looks like we are pretty much 1 minute away from starting. And no, we do not submit deck lists anywhere, especially just with regionals and stuff coming up. I want people to be able to, yes, you're probably still going to get casted, but I want people to at least be able to test their lists and not be worried about blasting it or things like that. And so, nope, no deck lists or anything required in that case. And so we will be doing the end of season tournament is going to be a deck list lock. But that's how it is. But anyway, good to have you guys here. We are, again, 1 minute away from starting. So we'll see how that unravels here. Let's see. Yep, and it looks like we have just hit 4 o'clock. Let's get that refresh going. Yeah, no problem. And so, yep, let's process check-in results. 22 out of 23 have checked in, and we are starting the tournament. So let's get that message sent out and get things going. So, guys, we are going to be taking a quick break. I'm going to get into the lobby to be able to cast our first match, and we will be right back with that. So stay tuned, and it's going to be an exciting 4 rounds. Almost there, guys. All right, and here we go into the first round of this tournament. Now it's going to be an exciting time as we are having Gameslayer versus Vit. Holy crap, don't grab them all, just grab one. How hard is that? I just want to move the name. Is that so much to ask? I guess it is. Anyway, I'm going to be really excited to see what all is going to be here, and it's going to be a thrilling match as we have Volibear versus Ornn. So a battle of two titans, and what is going to win out. So again, this is going to be an exciting time, and I'm going to be curious. So go ahead and let me know who you think is going to be winning. I mean, I'm going to just be really excited to see what's going to happen. So with that being said, we are starting this game. And again, it looks like that we have the Ornn going first. Now, the biggest thing about Ornn is that sometimes it can be a little bit of a slow start. But we saw last week that Vit was able to play exactly that. The pit crew here, which now playing out the seal, will ready it up and allow it to be able to move into a battlefield and immediately score a point. And so we'll see what ends up happening here. And so, yeah, it looks like already, though, a big start here from the Ornn itself. Volibear is going to need to be able to find its way back into the game, try to get a unit out. They do have 5 runes at the ready. Now, for those of you who don't know, Volibear does have, when you play a mighty unit, you can exhaust me to choose to channel 1 rune exhausted. And again, being mighty is going to be the ability of having a 5 might or higher unit there. So again, some really good abilities to be able to utilize. We'll see what ends up happening in this case as we go into round number 1. And again, we do have a couple of choices to be made here. And so, looks like we do have a Noxus Hopeful being able to come in, but the problem is Pit Crew can move so incredibly fast with the amount of maneuverability, and Ornn is a great proponent for this, Pit Crew to be able to zoom around the board incredibly fast. So it'll be fun to see what is able to be happening here. But at the same time, if Volibear is not able to get into this game, it could very well be a slow turn here as we have another gear that's going to be coming in. Oh, no, never mind. Instead, an Ezreal as the turn is passing. So still 3 cards in hand. It is currently 2-0, and Gameslayer needs to start to make a statement here with trying to get back into this game. Now, Ezreal's ability is really interesting because it specifically says that when I attack or defend, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit here. And again, then it doesn't deal combat damage. And so we'll see what ends up happening here, and if we're able to potentially get this moving, because, with 7 runes being able to be channeled here, that's going to be a big one, with the Ferris Forerunner being able to come in. One of the most powerful cards here of set 2, the ability to get essentially 12 might out for 6 and a power is going to be something to really make a big difference. But even still, it's about to be 4-0 depending on the circumstances here. And so I got to figure out a way to get back into this game. But Volibear, again, we don't necessarily know what Volibear is able to do in this current meta state. So this is going to be a thrilling match to be able to watch. And so again, yep, just like that, we are able to go up to 4. There still is 7 runes that Ornn is going to be able to use here. So, yep, there we go. Again, another gear coming down that's going to ready up Pit Crew, allowing it to move right back out if it so chooses. And even if you do end up running a little low on card draw, you can still get rid of Poros next to be able to draw one, and Ornn can even pay that cost if needed. But it looks like the Ornn is going to be coming in from the champion zone, and when you play me or when I hold, look at the top 4 cards of your main deck. You may reveal a gear from among them and draw it and put the rest on the bottom. So already just a very powerful start here at the get-go. And again, this is going to be a very big turn here for the Volibear. Are we going maybe Aurora Volibear here? And if so, if we are able to potentially get an Aurora out at this point, that could be a big change needed here. But at the same time, I don't think it is going to be Aurora, especially with Noxus Hopeful being out on the main board. And so if that's not the case, what is this deck aiming to do? So that is going to be the question. Now, of course, we do have a couple of cards moving around. We do get the Show of Strength. Draw one for each of your mighty units. Very powerful right now in this circumstance. Love that card. So that is going to allow for 2 cards to be drawn. Again, digging for those answers. And, you know, potentially getting a couple of cards from that can really allow you to pay it forward there and try to get back into this game. But again, there is still going to need to be some utilization here of getting into this game. Now, on the plus side, we at least have the Ornn completely tapped out here. But even still, it looks like the Noxus Hopeful is going to be moving in, and that is going to be into Ornn's Forge. Now, damage will be dealt first. That's going to be 3 damage, though that's not going to necessarily mean anything. And then he can recycle a rune to be able to remove Ezreal back to base. So that is going to be a conquer. And then not only that, Bone Shiver is going to be able to channel a rune Exhausted. So a great utilization there of the conquer, but Ezreal is still alive and going to need to get... I mean, there's a lot of gear that you can even attach to Ezreal to make him incredibly big so that even when he moves into a battlefield, then at that point, you're going to essentially be dealing with a Ezreal that plays like a Yasuo. That's a great way to look at it. The green Yasuo from set 1, where it's able to deal damage when attacking. But not only that, it's able to do so when also defending. Or, yeah, when I attack or defend. So that is a big deciding factor on what you need to do to be able to take over battlefields. And with already a developed board, Volibear is going to need to find some answers. And so, again, here we go. We'll see what ends up happening. 6 runes still not the most optimal here for the Ornn. I mean, yes, 6 runes is definitely a lot, but you do want a little bit more to be able to use here. And so we'll see if they're able to then get things moving. But even still... And there's plenty of time to think, so it looks like we're going to have the pit crew move in first for the guaranteed point, as a Void Seeker is going to be coming in to deal 4 damage. Oh, maybe not actually activated, or might have been. Nope, looks like the Void Seeker is going to be coming out in this case. But you got to be careful, because any Defy, which is exactly what's going to be played, is going to allow the pit crew to live. Now, not only that, I got to be saying, 2 Hearts of Dark Ice is going to be very difficult to deal with, because now you have an Ezreal that is at 9 might. So moving into a battlefield, Ezreal will immediately deal that 9 damage to a unit before combat is even initiated, which can be incredibly scary and difficult to deal with. But here we go with a Volibear accidentally activated. I thought for a second. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be curious here, because we've been able to see the Volibear develop the board, but not necessarily make an impact on this game, and it might even be a little too late, especially as Forging Cape is now going to be going on to Ezreal. That specifically will be when I attack, deal 2 damage to all enemies. So not only is 2 damage, but also 12 damage on top of that. And again, that's going to be when I attack or defend. And I gotta say, I really love Vit's Ornn deck. It is so well designed here, and we've been able to see what he's able to do to maintain this board state. You don't have to rely on Ornn to be the big bad here. You can utilize Ezreal, you can utilize Pit Crew, and we've even seen a big Pit Crew in the past that's been able to move around the board and have a very scary board presence. And so already, though, going 6-1, and I don't know exactly what Gameslayer might be able to do to get back into this game, but the Ornn was able to move so incredibly fast, and it looks like the answers ended up being found here. So great job here, and we'll see if Gameslayer is going to be able to come back from this. And so still, though, we are down all the way to 3 runes on the Ornn, which is actually really surprising. I haven't necessarily seen that little of rune count here for Ornn in a while, but I mean, you're still looking at the board state, and it is incredibly intimidating. How are you going to be able to even to take both necessarily? And yes, Ezreal is going to be able to potentially be defeated here, but again, you can activate at action speed by recycling a rune to be able to move him back to base, and that rune is able to be utilized very easily. And you already have the game on board. You don't necessarily need the runes to be able to play cards in hand, you know, unless it's maybe like a wind wall or a not so fast or defy in this case. And so again, though, not quite sure what is happening here. If the Volibear is just considering all of his different lines, or contemplating life decisions. Either way, a very difficult situation to be finding himself in. He still has the 5 cards in hand, but not only do you need to worry about, you know, even just getting on the board at this point. It looks like Stormbringer is going to be coming in. That is going to choose a friendly unit out of base, deal damage equal to its might to all enemy units at a battlefield, then move your unit there. So, I mean, going to be able to deal 6 there. That is not going to be able to be defied at that point, so the Ezreal is going to be gone, but that is a very expensive spell at that point to be able to get onto the board. But still, we don't necessarily see a whole lot of the signature spells here from Volibear, so that was really cool to see. And again, we still don't necessarily know what to expect with this deck. But with only 3 runes left for the Volibear, I'm not sure what else they might be able to do. Maybe just stack a battlefield and pray that they're able to hold it. But even if they don't, yeah, it looks like they're going to split each way. That is going to be the ability to channel another rune, Exhausted. And 2 runes left with 4 cards in hand for Gameslayer in this game number 1. And so again, though, I'm not quite sure how this might be able to be defended here. I mean, we have the equipment being moved around over into the Ornn. That is going to be an additional 2 damage that will be able to be dealt here. So not only is Ornn going to be at 8, he's going to be attacking pretty much as if he were 10. But the hardest part is that you need to figure out how to get over the big threat here, which is going to be the Noxus Hopeful at 6. And so if you're able to somehow figure out how to do that, and Ornn has more than enough cards. I mean, we already have seen if he really needs to, Poro Snacks is going to be able to be utilized, Heart of Ice, but it looks like Angled Shot is going to be coming in to be able to dismantle on that activation. But it looks like a Not So Fast was being saved for this circumstance. And again, denying this Volibear from being able to interact here. That is another heavy shutdown as the rat comes in. And we are going into game number 2. And so, yeah, I mean, just right off the bat with all of that, kind of crazy to see how the Volibear just wasn't necessarily able to really get into those games. And so, again, this is going to be interesting because the Ornn is able to utilize Ezreal, utilize Pit Crew to get into that game early. And so now that we're able to establish our board state, it's like, well, what can Volibear do? It seems like that it is a much slower deck. But we'll see that if going first is going to be the difference maker there, so that Game Slayer is going to be able to win game number 2. But that will be yet to be seen as we go into this match. So here we go again. It looks like that Game Slayer is finishing up his side decking here. We'll be curious to see what he might be able to do. But again, I still don't necessarily know if Volibear necessarily has his place in this meta. I've been really loving, though, this Ornn deck, what it's able to do, the answers it's able to get, and already now opening with Windswept Hillock, which units here have ganking, is going to be a great addition here, as Obelisk of Power is also going to be channeling an additional rune. So we'll see what Volibear is going to be able to do, and if he's going to be able to make that impact in game number 2, or is Ornn going to be able to 2-0? And I got to say, Vit had a really great match last week where it was Ornn versus Draven. And it was a close match in game 1, but unfortunately was a loss 1-2 in this case. But game 2, he ran away and defeated the Ornn 8-2. Which is just absolutely insane. So I really think that Ornn could be that surprise factor here, as his legend ability is utilized here to play out the Seal of Focus, as Clockwork Keeper then can be played using the Seal of Focus to be able to draw a card. So a great answer there to be able to get things moving. So it looks like maybe a little bit of an accidental play there. Oh, yeah, maybe. And so with that, that was a Combat Chef that got blipped in on accident. But looks like instead a Darius is going to be played, channeling a rune, and no equip just yet. But the Darius can be someone who can punish, especially with Windswept Hillock, because you can attack into it, play out 2 spells, he readies, and you can go over into Obelisk of Power and be able to really terrorize the board state. And then just with that, when you hold, you're able to then move back to the base, play 2 cards, and immediately attack into the other battlefield. So having out a Darius can be very scary, especially with having also a Bone Shiver where you can channel a rune each time that you conquer. I mean, this could be exactly what Volibear needed to be able to get into this game number 2. So yeah, let's see what we are then able to do to get this going, and if we can start to defend. But here we go with the Darius moving in. That clockwork is going to be gone. So again, though, this is going to be really fun, I think. And if we can start getting these interactions, and I mean, I got to say, now with the challenge coming out to be able to destroy the backfield, having a Trinity Force, and you can attach that even at this point, too. Now the Darius is ready. He's going to be able to score 2 points. The Trinity Force is equipped. That is going to be a Darius at 9, and with the ability to score 2 points each and every turn that he holds. So, I mean, that's some dangerous answers there. Oh my gosh, but there we go with the Thousand Tail Watcher being able to slide into those DMs and take out the Darius. That was the answer needed there. And maybe even a little bit of a sneak attack, not anticipating that a Thousand Tail Watcher could be said answer. And so that -3 to the Darius is going to be enough then to make that impact, as we now see the Combat Chef coming in. Now, he does have Weapon Master, which is going to be helpful. So it looks like the Bone Shiver is going to be equipped at that point. And we'll see what is able to be done here. But still, there we go in with the pit crew coming in, and we were able to see how fast it was able to move around. And moving in just like that. Also being able to have, when I attack or defend, deal 2 to all enemy units here. That could be a big difference maker, especially now with it being at 6. Yeah, that is a +3 on the equipment. Now, having the Thousand Tail Watcher moving back is a great answer there, too, so that it can live to fight another day. I'm going to be curious if there is maybe any answers here. I don't think there is any Unguards that are potentially being played. But we'll see what kind of answers we might have here. And so here we go with another rune channeled, as we have the Combat Chef moving in, using the Trinity Force. And then not only that, Show of Strength to be able to draw as many cards as you have. Mighty units in this case. So again, that's going to be 2 units that are mighty, so a 2 for 2 in that case. And another Trinity Force. Oh my gosh. So both Trinity Forces here, but is there going to be something to stop the opponent here from being able to, I mean, at this point, even just not taking one battlefield? Now, as the pit crew is taken over, that's going to be a big win right there. That's going to be a channeled rune for the Bone Shiver, as that is a pass. So a 9 might unit is waiting in this battlefield. Now, we do still have the equipment here, and the Thousand Tail Watcher could utilize that, especially with a tapped out Volley Bear, though the Thousand Tail is looking like it's going to go into the Obelisk of Power. And currently right now in this game too, it is 5-3 with the advantage still on the orange side. But even though, I mean, that's still scary, because you have to be worried about that 9 might unit that can now gank over into the Obelisk of Power. So we'll have to see if there's maybe some kind of answer that Vic could use. Sorry, dealing with a judge call real quick right here. But yeah, looks like, again, that's going to be a lot of might that was able to attack in on that, and a great response there. Again, I got to be saying, I am a big fan of the Ezreal here. It is able to put in so much work, and you can tell that Vit has made a very deadly list here. And I think he is onto something here. He has been playing Ornn week after week and has been refining the list every single time. And you can tell that the amount of play testing he has been able to do is really starting to reward him here. Now, Gameslayer still has a good chance here. There's a couple of answers that he needs to be able to have, but if he's able to do so, then this could be a very difficult game, especially with only 4 cards in hand. Now we got a Stormbringer that is going to be coming in. That is going to be a lot of damage that could be used here. And again, that is going to be a big win right there. And double. I mean, that is insane. Double Trinity Force. So when I hold score a point, could be scoring up to 3 points on that, ganking over and getting the 4th point to be able to win the game. So Gameslayer was able to find the answers here, and there might not be anything that Ornn is able to do. Yeah, there we go, going over, and that's going to be 5 points. So we could very well be going up to 8 points for the game if there are no answers here. So, and another Trinity Force. I don't know why you need 3, but hey, here we go. It's going to be a little bit overkill. We don't have the Aspirant's Climb that we need to utilize here, but hey. Wow, so that is the answer needed here, as Volibear, I think, just locked down this game. We'll see what kind of response there could be as an 8 is coming out. That could be an accelerated Thousand Tail Watcher. That's going to be -3 going to 10. And then equipping all the stuff here to be able to destroy that unit. And just like that, the Thousand Tail Watcher is going to be able to go up to 7 points. And now we pass it back over to Gameslayer. And does he have anything that he can do at this point? And I'm not sure that he does. And then there is a card hidden on top of that. Ooh, that is scary. And this is always kind of the odd part, because it's like, well, what could that card be? You know, and what does green and blue run? And you're like, well, Zhonya's Hourglass, Consult the Past. It could be a number of things, but that's still something that you need to consider. But at this point, Gameslayer is at a hard point. He needs to be able to figure out how to get into this battlefield. I don't know if he has any units that he can potentially accelerate in. And so there's the Thunder Song at that point. We can have still the hidden card that is able to be played. It is going to be a Consult of the Past. That's going to be 2 cards drawn at that point. And a Darius that is going to be able to be readied up. So just barely enough runes to be able to utilize both. And then just like that, we are going to be equipping like crazy to be able to go into... This is a... This is such an odd match. I love this. But if you would have told me that this is how the match would have gone, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But we have 3 Trinity Forces on a Darius that is attacking in. And that is going to be another trade at that point. A straight up trade. Now, I'm kind of curious... With that being a trade, with the Bone Shiver still being... Is Bone 1? Yeah, Bone is 1. Dang it. So 1 rune away, because Bone Shiver is 1 and a recycled rune to be able to equip. And again, if we can get maybe a Pit Crew coming in, that could be the points needed. So, but looks like no, not at this point. It very well might be a grind for these final points as Ezreal is coming in. Oh, man. So, okay, Ezreal now has a life to lose. And that's going to be a great board state here again built up. But we have the Thunder Song. Now, of course, it can move in and potentially then gank over for another 2 points, and it would be 7-7. And with 10 runes, but only 2 cards in hand, I'm not sure quite how much of an impact. I mean, you could take a battlefield and then play out Volibear into that battlefield. That would be a very difficult thing to deal with. I mean, this Volibear, when I attack, deal 5 damage split among any number of enemy units here. And so you very well could then just move into the obelisk here, play out Volibear, and attach all the equipment to it. And that's going to be a lot of might needed to get over. And so again on the back and forth here. So we'll see what is able to be done here. I mean, again, this is a very difficult circumstance to find yourselves in. And with so many cards, I mean, we're going to have 5 cards in hand for the Ornn, 8 runes. And it's like, okay, so what is my best and optimal line here to be able to get things moving? And so it looks like in this case, yeah, we are going to be going the route of Thundersong. He is going to get everything equipped here. And that's going to be big. I mean, that's a +8 at that point. So 14 might. Now, we have seen the ability to get over that. I mean, Ezreal's already at 3, 4, 5, and then you can add another 5 right there. So potentially 10 at that point. 3 runes left, a single card in hand. And so, again, we'll see what ends up being chosen here. This is going to be a big turn, and there's a number of things that Ornn could have to be able to deal with this. And so still another equipment coming in as it is attached. That is going to be 11 right there. Is there going to be maybe anything else? 12 at that point. That's going to be 12 damage dealt. And is this going to be another trade at this point? Yeah, it looks like it very well. Let me see. Oh, wow. So it does look like that was a conquer there. Oh, so it was +12 in that case. Sorry. So usually instead of doing total might, they just did what was added on. So that was a 15 might Ezreal that now will also be dealing 15 damage when defending. So you need to figure out what can I now do to be able to deal with a 15 might Ezreal. Gosh. That's gonna be a very difficult place to be in here. And I don't know if there's going to be a place for Volibear to go. And again, I think unfortunately, Gameslayer might have taken a rough line here. Even still, Yeah, because Ezreal doesn't deal combat damage. That's the big thing. When I attack or defend, deal damage to my might, and I don't deal combat damage. So if he would have been able to have enough, or even 2 units there, that would have been enough at that point. So it looks like it's going to be a hand reveal, and that is going to be it as we finish this game and match of round number 1 as Ornn takes down Volibear. And again, this was kind of a odd type of battle here. I didn't necessarily see a lot of that coming, but yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing. And I don't know why. I really felt like Volibear at that point could have had the game if he just added in even the Forerunner at that point, because yeah, you're exactly right that Ezreal can only kill 1 unit at a time. So if you have 2 units in there, well, cool, you still need to have those answers. I don't deal combat damage. Let's get this taken care of at that point. So maybe a little bit of a misplay there, but still a very interesting match. I didn't expect to see that going. And so looks like we have a couple of drops real quick. We'll get you guys into another match with where we are at. And let me get a couple of things updated here. Looks like Brave Worm is dropping. And so we'll get him taken care of at that point. And taking a look at the bracket real quick, we've already had a couple of games that have finished here. And so already right off the bat, we do have some really big wins. Now, first off, we have Jade Chan that has taken down Jay Shoop. So both Jays ended up battling it out. We had Kochwich versus Gil and 2-0 there. And also even Corey Millhouse and Ek Pilot going 2-1. So some really quick games as we still are seeing Beg4 and Terra going against each other. Now, these guys are 2 that are very skilled competitors. I have seen Beg4 be a very powerful opponent to try to take down. He's gone 2-0 multiple times. He did have to leave a little bit early last week, but still had some really fun gameplay to be able to watch and utilize. So let's find ourselves another match. It looks like we still have 25 minutes until the game is over. And so let's see what we have here. So it looks like we might be going Al versus LDZ. And oh my gosh, it looks like a very heavy board state as we are going in here. So already right off the bat, we'll see what ends up happening. And then, of course, I forgot to update the characters, but that's okay. I need to find a way to automate it better. So, but even still, this is going to be interesting. I mean, we have a Lux, and we did have a Lux last week from Al, and was able to even pull out a win or 2. So, again, is this going to be something that, might be a little bit more meta-relevant as we get moving in? But even still, then also seeing a Renata, I would have never guessed these opponents or these kinds of matchups. This is a Volibear and an Ornn, and then now a Lux versus Renata. I mean, such an interesting board state here. We don't necessarily know what game they are on here, but this is intimidating. I mean, look at how many different tokens that Lux has out. And it's pretty much all thanks to Vanguard Armory here being able to play 3 1 might recruit unit tokens. And I mean, that's going to be a great tool there to be able to utilize as the pass is going over. There has to be something to try to take over Arena's greatest here. But I'm not quite sure there is. There's going to be a gold that is created from Renata's legend ability on the hold. But the hard part is, yeah, if you hold here with 7+ units, you win the game. And yes, next round starts as soon as everyone is done. So we don't usually wait too long. And it looks like that is going to be the game with a time warp and unchecked power. So it looks like that very well could be it. I don't think they are. I think they might very well be done and not going into game number 3. So while they do that, let me go and just in case if they don't, we might just have to take a quick break because it looks like after that, the only ones that we're waiting for is going to be Beg and Terra here. So well done there from all the competitors. It has been a really fast round 1 so far. And so, yeah, looks like that is going to be it. So, yeah, some really fun gameplay right there, guys. So that is going to be the end of round number 1. And again, we just have to wait maybe a little bit to be able to get to round 2. So hang tight for a little bit. Of course, if for those of you who might be new here as viewers, I don't generally put you on a wait screen. Instead, we just kind of have a discussion at this point. That way, it's not super boring for you. And so one of the biggest things, too, is what do you guys feel, or how do you guys feel that this this new way to buy Spiritforged merch is going? Now, the fact that it is a lottery system at this point, I think it actually is a step in the right direction. They did claim that they had a couple of safety measures in place to be able to stop bots from being able to order product. We'll see if that's the case, but it seems like that this is going to be a great answer here. So we'll see. Again, you still have until the 5th to be able to be put into the drawings for whatever merch that you want. Now, the biggest thing is if you get drawn for multiple items, you have to buy said multiple items. You can't get like a Fiora and a box and then say, oh, actually, I just want the box. And so I really like what they've done here, though. Yeah, I really like it. And I think this is a step in the right directions. And so... And the website, yeah, you're exactly right, Ekpilot. I think it is going to be running a lot smoother with all of that, too. So I really hope that we are taking a step in the right direction. I also really like that Riot did have a fairly quick response. And so the nice thing is, yeah, exactly. Website's not going to get bogged down. You can go here, click on that, and you go to drawing. And, of course, I thought I entered. Maybe I forgot. Glad we checked, guys. You go and hit enter, and then you're good. You're registered for it, and they'll start drawing after the 5th. And so I did that for Fiora earlier. I guess I didn't. And now I'm registered. So there we go. Now let's go back just in case to see if I am. Okay, I don't know if I am registered or what's going on with that, but we'll see. It should be working, and that should be really helpful for everyone, and I'm going to be curious to see how it all comes down to it. So again, we're at the tail end of this end of round 1 here, and we'll see how it ends up unraveling. But again, I really do like what they have been able to do. So we'll see if this is going to be a solution. I think it will be, but we'll see. Again, it's a very tough situation to be finding yourselves in because of how limited product is. And they even said that they had 50% more product than they had for Origins. And it's still sold out incredibly fast, which is just insane to think about. But again, at the same time, they already had a bunch of bots that were able to order 8 to 10 boxes each, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm glad that they did cancel that out and take care of that. And so we'll see. But anyway, guys, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. And then we are going to take a look at the leaderboard and how all of that is unraveling. And then we'll probably be pretty close to starting round number 2. So stay tuned. I will be right back. righty, I am back. Good to have you guys up. Yeah, that's a big thing is I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get a box and Fiora deck. That's the same thing that I'm trying to pick up because I think I am going to be taking Fiora to the whatchamacallit, to the regionals in Vegas. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going with Fiora Hook. So it looks like we just have one more that we are working or looking at. Love the deck, dude. Oh, for Vit, yeah. Good to be back. Good to be back. So, but yeah, no, Vit is definitely one, like I was saying in the stream while we were watching him, one of the you can tell how much he's been play testing his Ornn deck, and it really shows. It is a very tough matchup. And I mean, gosh, I don't know about Volibear here in that case. I don't know, but still really interesting to see. So it looks like, yeah, Beg and them might actually be finished here. So let me get round 2. And so looks like we... Oh, it looks like we have one more match between Matt and Mystery Potato. So we'll see when they finish that. But yeah, okay. I'll be keeping an eye on the leaderboard here to make sure, or on the tournament. But yeah, so let's see. Hey, what's up, brosifs? Ratzeal and Ornn. With Ornn, looks like so much fun. But I'm sticking with Kaisa. Well, Kaisa had a really interesting showing, I'm not going to lie. Really liked how it... Yeah, I'm playing Baited Hook Fiora. 100%. I think it's the better version. Because even when you don't hit Hook, it still plays really well. Spectral Matron is incredibly good because I've played it from my hand multiple times and been able to get my champion unit back from the deck because he's able to grab 3 or less power or 3 or less cost from the trash and play it out. And so it's like, oh no, you destroyed my Fiora Victorious. Okay, it's back. You know, or if I find that with Baited Hook. And so I really do like what it's able to do. It has a pretty good showing. It hasn't necessarily had great conversion rates, but one or two has been able to make it to the top each and every time. And so, yeah. Also, guys, before we go into round number 2, how's the stream been so far? Has it been laggy at all? Not too bad? Audio's been sounding good? Or how's that been going? So, but no, I've had a lot of fun with Fiora here. And so again, I'm going to be curious to see how it's going to continue to develop and go. And we'll see, but I'm excited. I think set 2 is going to be fun. Okay, good. Thank you, brosifs. Yeah, I'm always worried about the dual stream because I have over 1,000 megabytes per second. But we still just need to get there. You know, it feels like it holds back a little bit. But anyway, guys, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Horrible, Lancet. You get out of here. Go make yourself, your family, the curry or whatever you were going to be making tonight. Gosh, what were you going to be making for dinner again? I forget. You told me. And I just don't care. Okay? That's how little. Just so you know, Lancet's in my playtest group. And so we're going to Vegas together, and whatnot. So we're carpooling. Yay. Stream only had 1 likes back. Okay, good. Thank you, Spartan. No, that's good to know because yeah, I'm hardwired in. We have a lot of internet. I'm still a little bit worried. I got to tell Mystery Potato here in 5 minutes that we are at time because it looks like they just haven't finished yet. Judge request. Make sure before I do, but are we allowed to switch decks? Like not in the same series, like a different deck after round 1? Same deck for... So, yeah, we'll see how that ends up going. Yeah, someone was just asking if they could switch decks in between rounds, and that's going to be a no-go. Oh, yeah, chicken chow mein. That's right. Told you to just order pizza so that you could play in this tournament. So, yeah, no, it's been really fun, guys. And so, again, just so you know, we do this every single week. So when you do go, you're more than welcome to join. All you have to do is go to the Discord, and then you are able to find us. I post the sign-up link every Sunday or Monday, depending. And then we go from there. So again, it's been a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of competition here. Thank you so much for the follow there, _ Siri. Thank you. No, it really means a lot, and it's been a great time. We've had a really good community, and for those of you who don't know, when you join these tournaments, if you qualify for the top 16, then you are playing for a custom-designed playmat that is designed by yours truly. So you get to pick the legend of your choice, and then I will design it out. I have Photoshop and the templates to be able to do so, and I will order it and then send it to you. So just a lot of fun there, and a way for me to be able to give back to the community, and give you guys also something to fight for, because that's just fun. So just in case you guys don't know, so for example, here's like my where's a good one? I mean, this is kind of one that you get to see a little bit of. Let me go to match instead. You get to see a little bit more of that. So I designed these out, and I color code it according to what it might be or whatever the person wants it to be. And so again, you can pick any legend that you want. Let's see. So for example, yeah, if you really wanted a Fiora, oh, I guess that's the only Fiora we've done so far, but you guys get the idea. But normally I also color code it so that we have it to match either the colors or the background in that case. So a lot of oh, whoops, I didn't even get over there, dang it. So yeah, still waiting. So I'll tell them in a couple of minutes. Anyway, so for example, like with this one, color coded it, made it pop a little bit. We also had this. I designed lancets as well. Just a fun way to be able to, play. And so, and I do love erasing around them, because, I mean, it just makes it pop so much better. It's so cool. I love stuff like that. Anyway, so you guys get the idea. That's going to be the playmats that everyone is going to be able to compete with. That's going to be the top 16 after 8 weeks of play. So we do have a leaderboard here. That's the wrong one, so I should go. Here we go. So we do have a leaderboard here that we'll be showing you guys. Now, of course, we still have, as you join each week, first place gets 10 points, second place gets 8, third place gets 6, and so on and so forth. And even just for showing up one week, regardless of how you do, you're able to compete here. So if you happen to only make a couple of weeks, awesome. You still actually might have a chance to qualify in the top 16, so keep that in mind. Why do the points go up to 14? Can someone get it that high? Yeah. Well, and again, like he had played multiple weeks. And so yeah, in this case, like Zebro is at 20 points because he got first in 2 weeks. Terra is at 14 because he got like second and he got like fifth, something like that. And you just add your points together in that case. And we keep their win-loss records just because it's fun to see. So, all right, let's see. I got to get telling Mystery Potato that... all right, let's see. All right. right, time to go to turns if you haven't. Start on turn 0, go to 3. Whoops. So we'll see, guys. Yeah, looks like we just have a little bit more to go here. And again, this tournament is completely free for you guys. So whatever you guys want, if you guys want to sign up or anything, join the Discord down in the description below, and you are welcome to. Okay. Let's see. I think he's asking about playmats. Oh, yeah. And I have, sorry, the playmats, yeah. That's just what the template is. I do have a template that only goes up to 8. But people were asking for up to 15 or up to 14, just in case down the line you can go up to 14 points, which would be absolutely insane. Maybe for multiplayer, they would change that, but I doubt that. That would still be also a really long game. I could see 10. But yeah, otherwise, I just have another template that goes up to 7. You know, so you're fine at that point. Anyway, but yeah, that's why. Yeah. Just hour-long game. One person holding up the whole lobby. You guys get to hear me talk the whole time and instead of watching gameplay because one person is deciding to take too long. So we should be done anytime now. I have everything popped up, so we're going to be good to go into round 2 as soon as I see that reported. My finger is on the enter button to be able to say when round 2 is going to end. So yeah, as soon as it gets paired. Yeah, we used to actually do a different league where every Sunday or every Monday you would be paired up randomly. And you would go against an opponent sometime during the week. You'd be able to message them and go against them at any time. That was really fun, but it had a lot of really flaky people. And surprisingly, we've actually had a lot of good turnout here. I wish we did have a little bit more judge support, because we do need some on-call judges. Oh, we're done. They left. They're reporting. They have reported that was a 2-0. What the heck? So I don't know what took that long. But guys, yeah, it looks like we are going into round number 2. And we got some really exciting matches here that could be coming our way. I think we're going to be watching Barfling versus Corey Millhouse here. I think that could be a really fun match here. So let me get that set up. And we'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, so I guess they did 14 in case everyone happened to pick Aspirant's Climb. You know, could you imagine if, like, all 3 battlefields were just Aspirant's Climb? Yeah, so how you actually sign up is you can join my Discord down in the description below, and I post the sign-up link every Sunday or Monday, and then you just have to sign up and check in an hour before the tournament starts, anytime before it starts. And then you're able to play. And we play 4 rounds. If you can only play 3 rounds, great. Just let me know. We'll drop you. And we'll keep playing. So should be a good time. So let's see where Corey Millhouse is. And we'll get into said lobby. So a lot of really fun matches that we could be having coming our way here. And I mean, Corey Millhouse, he pretty much picks almost a different deck every week. He did Kaisa last week, which was really fun to watch. And so, but also Barfling has been a very competitive player. He's had a lot of really good showings, especially over at Runes and Rift. So we'll see if this is going to be something then to get things moving. I'm going to be curious. This is going to be a fun match, I think. And so, yeah, we'll see. Again, just waiting for competitors. I'm going to take a real quick, probably 2-minute break while we get into the lobby and I get everything set up for you guys, and then we will start. So stay tuned, and we'll bring some great gameplay for you momentarily. All right, where's the opponent? Corey's in. Just need the other one. All right, looks like Barfling and Terra, or not Terra, sorry, Barfling and Looks like we're still waiting for him to get in here. They are talking, so sorry, guys. We're almost there. Looks like they might be switching lobbies. Okay. Almost there, guys. Sorry about that. Barfling just didn't have... Okay, there we go. All right. So with that being said, it looks like we are going to be having a Draven versus Kaisa in this case, as Barfling is going against Corey Millhouse. So, again, it's going to be interesting, especially with Kaisa, that was able to win the regionals this last weekend. That's going to be a big tell on if this might be something that could be a struggle here for Draven. And so, yeah, again, though, Draven has been the menace of set 2 so far. So is this going to be something that is going to be very difficult to try to come back from, as, you know, Corey could be very well testing out the winning list. I'm not necessarily sure if he is or isn't, but is going to be playing out a Ferris Forerunner and passing for the turn. Again, we are able to see how much work that's able to do. But not only that, now, I mean, that is already a lot of card draw here, with a scrap heap that is being discarded to be able to draw an additional card because of these Zon Warrens. So that is a lot in the hand of Draven. And already this could be a very difficult scenario. You're going to be seeing a lot that is now able to come out, but no hidden card in this case. But you don't necessarily need to, especially with 3 still up. But Singularity is going to be coming down, a great answer at this point, dealing 6 to 2 units. And it looks like that is going to be Noxus Hopeful and the Forerunner here at this point. So a good answer, but it looks like that Spinning Axe is going to be played and automatically equipped to the Ferris Forerunner maybe, or the Noxus Hopeful. Either or, both would be saved by this equipment, and it looks like the 4 Noxus is going to be saved here, and that is still going to be 3 Might bots that are going to be placed into the base. So still, even with that, though, Stupefy is going to be coming down. That is going to be enough to take care of the Noxus Hopeful there. And if the equipment is not attached, then it will go away. It does have temporary in this case. And so, again, that could be something very difficult here. But that is a well-done take here for Corey Millhouse on the battlefield, discarding a cleave and being able to draw one as the turn is passed. So, again, yeah, that is going to be the end of that signature gear, as we now see 3 versus 6 with a Rebuke coming out. No response there, and that is going to be a major capture. Now, even with having to channel to be able to get rid of the 2 cards, that still is going to be a great utilization here. 7 runes still for Draven to use. And again, we have to see what now could be done here as another Ferris Forerunner comes out again. So 8 cards in hand for Corey here. And I got to say, the card draw here is just so... It's so difficult because it's like, well, how do you try to match that? There's already a ton of 2-cost spells that are in Draven's deck that you got to be so careful of. And the Forerunner being in the main deck is definitely one to watch out for, but still, we have a great option here, but I don't necessarily know what could be done. Because as soon as you take out, if you are able to take out the Forerunner again, that's going to be producing another 2 bots. And Singularity wouldn't be necessarily all that great of an answer either, because you still need to be able to get some units out to try to be able to get, some type of board presence. Otherwise, your opponent is just going to continue to run away with this. And so, yeah, that is going to be a pass and increase to 5 as Corey was forced to rebuild his base and then will be attacking in on the following turn. So, again, we'll see if that's maybe something that is going to give this game 1 over to the Draven. I mean, we already see 8 cards in hand for Barfling here. And I'm not sure if there is quite a way to be able to come back. You can set up all the roadblocks that you want as Draven. I mean, you're going to be guessing that there are going to be fighter flights there, and it looks like a Darius is even coming in. So very well might be that Barfling is now defending his backfield so that he can make that final push into the battlefield. If he has even like another Rebuke in hand, then he can just get rid of the Ferris Forerunner and absolutely run away, and this game's going to be way too difficult to come back from. And so, yeah, it looks like the Forerunner is going to be combating in the Vile Maw's lair, and that will be a victory there for Corey. But he's got to figure out a way to try to hold things down. And a Singularity, again, might be a step in the right direction there, being able to deal 6. But what do you pick at that point? Because you can go Darius, you can go Forerunner, which are the choices here. And here we go again with another Spinning Axe. Oh, gosh. So... and that can be one of the downfalls of removal, especially when going against Draven, is that there are so many different equipments and abilities that you can stack on your units to make it to where your removal doesn't necessarily do much. But yeah, that looks like that is going to be the end of the game as we go into game number 2. So already right off the bat, that was a little bit quick of a game, but even all the same, you got to be watching out for that Draven. It can draw so many cards that it just is going to be having the answers. And the Rebuke just ended up slowing down the Kai'Sa way too much. But at the same time, it's like, well, what do you do about that? You don't necessarily have a whole lot that you're going to be racing back into the game with. The aggression from Kai'Sa seems to have been taking a step back in this case, where you're opting in for more removal and might changes. So you're trying to run the smoke screen. You're trying to run the frigid card. Sorry, I forget. Anyway, but you guys get the idea. And so already with all of that, you're like, well, how do I then go about trying to get into this game if I am getting rebuked, if I am getting, tossed back into the into the base? Because if I'm unable to continue to accelerate my units out and meet the aggression that Draven is able to bring, then I'm just in trouble. And so this is going to be a big game for Corey Millhouse here. He is probably going to be going first, but you got to meet that aggression with Draven and somehow deal with that removal there. If you can't deal with the rebukes, then this game could be over just as fast as it started. But it looks like we do have an obelisk, but even with the obelisk, there is nothing here as a Draven is put down onto the battlefield. Now, of course, we still will be able to take over a battlefield and get some card draw. Oh, but it's not going to be accelerated out at this point. But a Falling Star will still be coming down with no answer for Corey Millhouse. And so the Draven should be able to take a battlefield of his choice. He is going to be doing the Targon's Peak. That will be readying up 2 runes. And that is going to be 2 runes well spent with that Falling Star to be able to really devastate the board. And this is something like Kaisa is very powerful with the removal, but I mean if you're not able to deal with what Draven's able to throw out at you, you're almost just going to fall way too far behind. So I am worried. And so again, here comes the Kaisa trying it all over again. Was able to at least stop, with the Void Seeker, but still, again, here we go with the stack deck. That's going to be drawing 3 cards, adding 1 to hand. But again, you got to just be very mindful here. The Noxus Hopefuls are going to be a very devastating place to have in the battlefield, because that 4 might can be amplified with any and all tricks that Barfling might have here. And so if you do end up having the Spinning Axe, if you do end up having a Rebuke, a Fight or Flight, whatever else it might be, heck, even if you do end up getting over in Might and they do a switcheroo, that's been used sometimes in the Draven matchups here. And so you got to just be very mindful of the threats, but you also got to be able to deal with said threats. And so, again, we already have Barfling going up 2-0 at this point, and still with 5 runes up. Now, the one nice thing about Draven is that he can be very power hungry. If you force him to spend his runes and you're able to still meet him, then you have a good chance on being able to take things down. But again, that's a big if. And so here we go. That is going to be a taking over of a battlefield there. Another Void Seeker is going to be coming out at this point, taking care of the Noxus Hopeful. A great response. And also no response from Barfling there too. So that might be a little bit in the clear at that point, as now we see that with the avoiding of battles here, that might be a step in the right direction with Singularity. So, I mean, again, that's going to be a step in the right direction, but still, that's a big finish right there, being able to win that combat and draw a card. And that 7 might. Oh, with a Mind Splitter coming in. Now, that's going to be a reveal of the hand and being able to pick anything. 3 Falling Stars. Oh, my gosh. 3 Falling Stars. 2 Ferris Forerunners and a Kaisa. Holy. Now, I'm not quite sure what you do with a hand like that. That's insane. And I mean, it's like, well, I'm going to deal with Falling Stars at this point. I mean, maybe even the Kaisa just might be the best choice. Stop some additional card draw, but even then, doesn't feel horrible. What a hand. I was wondering what might be going on there with Corey, but yeah, and it looks like the Kaisa will be discarded at this point. Yeah, great response there. That Mind Splitter, the fact that it has been more and more utilized in a Darius deck is very telling, and one that definitely should be watched out for, because while yes, you do have to pay a 2 power cost, and Draven again is very easy to recycle a lot of runes in this case, you still just got to be so careful on how you go about dealing with said board states. Now, Falling Star is going to be coming in. That is going to be dealing 6 damage over into the Mind Splitter. And then also a Hextech Ray to be able to finish it off. That, again, though, is going to be 2 runes sacrificed at that point. And are you almost going to be pushing for... No, it looks like not in this case, but it's like, gosh, do you almost want to just do a lot of Falling Stars to clear out the board? But at that point, that's going to be costing you so much resources to try to get back into this game. But it looks like Draven is going to be digging a little deeper to find those resources, as Falling Star is going to be played here. Or, sorry, Stack Deck is going to be played here. That's all I see now is Falling Star. Every card is Falling Star. But yeah, so, gosh. So it looks like it very well might be a difficult choice here. And 1 card is chosen. The rest are going on to the bottom. And it looks like, yeah, just going to be going with the Noxus Hopeful and a Treasure Hunter. Now, of course, that is a little bit of a breath of fresh air then for Corey Millhouse, because, again, he has 2 cards in hand that is unknown to Barfling. And right now, Draven doesn't have a lot of cards in hand. He has done still a good job at avoiding a lot of combats here. If you're able to avoid combats, you have... or even just stop Draven from winning combats, then you have a lot of advantage here. So it looks like a Stupefy is going to be coming out. That'll be on the Noxus Hopeful. You do have to be mindful that there might be another Blade on this case, as the Falling Star comes in to try to deal the final 6 damage to a 6-mite unit, but there's no response there. And so again, it looks like that signature gear is going to be going the way of the earth here at the upkeep of Barfling. And again, we've seen Corey and Barfling together enter a lot of these online tournaments. They're very skilled at this point, and this is going to be a test for the both of them. This is one of the best parts about being able to join online tournaments, because we do have a lot of really high-level competition that people are able to go against here. And so it can really be some good practice for you to try to, you know, make your impact and get used to your decks. And it looks like a Darius is going to be coming in. 1 more card needs to be played with a Kaisa, as the Darius comes in at 7, but still, that's a lot of runes that are still up here. But it looks like no answers, as the mechs are going to be coming down into the battlefield. Another combat won, as a Darius wins the combat, and Draven will draw the card. Now, of course, on the move, the gold will be made by the Treasure Hunter. And another point won. It is 6-2, and I'm not sure what Corey might be able to do to get back into this game. That is a lot of might. That is easy to get around the removal, unless, of course, it is a singularity in this case. And 2 runes still at the ready, thanks to Targon's Peak. And so it looks like it is going to be 6-5. Is there going to be a response here? But nope, it looks like there is just going to be a trade, so there very well could be maybe no response in the hand. Or could be saving it for the Noxus Hopeful moving into the battlefield against Treasure Hunter. Nope. Wow, okay. So maybe a little bit of a silver lining here. That's going to be 2 combats won, going up 4-6 at this point. And so, I mean, this is going to be a stronghold at this point. You need to be able to at least hold for the turn. But with 10 runes for the Darius, the silver lining here is that there are only 3 cards in hand. So if by some chance we are able to then get around this upheaval, you know, against, you know, and hope that they don't have something like a Rebuke. And already having a Kaisa, that might be a step in the right direction. But it is going to be accelerated as now a Kaisa. Everything is going in. Holy. That's 5 runes, though. And our 5 runes, and again, only 3 cards in hand. Nope, it looks like there is no response here. That's going to be a 1 combat and a drawn card off of the Kaisa's Conquer ability. As we pass back, and again, going to be going into Kaisa, going up to 5, but somehow needs to be able to take this battlefield. And there's a chance that there's something in, but the Thousand Tail Watcher, that's going to be the send all in at this point. You have 2 runes left at the ready. And it's like, gosh, I think I would have rather used a Falling Star with the 2 remaining runes in case there was a Rebuke or something. We are very fortunate that there wasn't. Very fortunate. I mean, there also maybe could have been a hard bargain in the deck for Barfling 2. But even still, that is going to be a big conquer right there for Corey. And again, I mean, at the same time, oh, it looks like that is going to be the game because, yeah, I was going to say that there was a slight chance that the aggression could then be matched here. But, I mean, great job there by Corey to be able to slow down the Draven from drawing a lot of cards. So very good there. But again, this is going to be the problem. Can you do the same thing when Draven is going first? That's going to be one of the biggest tells. Because that is such a difficult situation to be finding yourself in. If Darius does end up getting going, well, then what's going to end up happening here? So here we go into game number 3 of Darius versus Kaisa. And, I mean, this is going to be great battlefields. Void Gate on one side, so spells and abilities affecting units here each deal 1 bonus damage. That's a little bit scary with Draven's Falling Stars, but at the same time, then we also have Reaver's Row, which is an automatic combat win if you decide to back out as the opposing player. So if Corey backs out, that's an immediately 1 combat and a card draw there. And so looks like, yeah, we are going to be going in with an Overzealous Fan, and that can be a very strong combo playing Draven out with a Conquered Overzealous Fan. So you might be hoping that you have a Hextech Ray or something along those lines, but again, no turn 1 play here for Corey Millhouse. Usually you have something like a Watchful Sentry or a Ravenbloom Student, but it looks like that's not the case, but also no Battlefield Conquer from the Overzealous Fan, so a very interesting choice. Now, I do trust the process here with Barfling. I've seen his gameplay. I know what he's able to do here. But also, it's like you're potentially missing out on a point or 2 here. But it looks like the Kaisa is going to be coming in and passing with 1 rune up. Now, we have seen a Falling Star already come out from Barfling. And if you are able to shut down the Kaisa and there isn't a retreat to be able to respond to that, that can really set back Corey here. And here's the scary part, too, because you could divide and conquer Barfling going to each and every battlefield. But, I mean, if you send the Draven over into the Void, then a then a Hextech Ray would be dealing 4 damage at that point. And so, again, just going to be going for the 1. And then the Draven's going to be holding down Reaver's Row and being on the board. So could have a Singularity and a Stupefy at this point, but it looks like 3 is going to be tapped as a Void Seeker is going to be attacking the Draven. That's going to be 4 damage. And if there isn't an equipment that is able to add might... Oh, and the Draven is fallen. Again, though, we've got to be careful here. That's a big win, though. But with the 2 runes up, you're also a little bit worried if there might be any responses on the Conquer here. Could also maybe even try to sneak in with like a Ride the Wind or something along those lines. That has been a card played, but it looks like it is going to be a stacked deck to be able to draw a card. So That was an easy choice as the rest go to the bottom. That was a very quick stack deck. And Corey's on the board and gets to draw a card off of the Kaisa Conquer ability. Both have a lot of card draw in hand, but it looks like a Stupefy is going to be coming out, drawing another card. Might be targeting the Kaisa for a Falling Star, as that is a complete board wipe here. And Barfling has 8 runes at the ready, but only 6 cards in hand and no units on the board. So already, there we go with the Forerunner. That's going to be a great counter here for the Kaisa, because then you have to be spending so much more to be able to get rid of all the units, and forcing out a Tide Turner is a big difference maker there. So again, Corey Millhouse is moving back to base, has, I mean, so many cards in hand, 7 runes to be able to utilize. You do have to be a little bit worried, maybe next turn too, that there could be a Thousand Tail Watcher. So there's so much that could be happening here. And so again, here we go on trying to get... Oh, and that's a revealed hand there with another Mind Splitter coming in. That can be a big difference maker, and I'm really worried. I mean, gosh, that is a tough choice. And what would you guys pick at this point? Would you go with a Darius, a Kaisa, or a Smokescreen? I think that would be the biggest ones that I would be picking at this point. I would probably go the Darius just to try to avoid the Darius Cleave, but even then, Kaisa Cleave could be just as deadly with a Smokescreen, and you have the runes to be able to do it. Because, yeah, you could go Kaisa Cleave and Smokescreen. That would be 8 runes. You'd only need to be recycling 1 rune at that point. And that would easily take out the Reaver's Row. Now, of course, one could back out, but it looks like the Kaisa is going to be the choice here. And so, again, that Mind Splitter can be so decisive. Just that hand knowledge alone. Forget being able to pick a unit or a card and be able to discard it. But being able to... Oh my gosh, that is a board state. But, I mean, with everything that you know, why not? Oh my gosh. 2 runes at the ready, still 3 cards in hand. Again, not a lot of combat here for Draven, but that is still a wall of units that have been set up in this case. And so we'll see. Hey, Ego, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. Good to have you here. And so again, though, this is a tough corner for Corey to be pinned in. How do you deal with that board state? I mean, at this point, Singularity might be one of your only options here. There hasn't been a lot of card draw, so with the removal, there's a good chance that there isn't a Spinning Axe in the hand of Draven. And if that's the case, then you might just have to go and hope that, I mean, we know what's in hand. And there's no Singularity, and there's no Stupefy. Oh, gosh. So there's just a wall there. And even if you are able to attack in and overwhelm at this point, even with like a Hextech Ray now coming in, that could be able to activate the Fight or Flight, but looks like, nope, it is going to be, I don't know what that face down card is. It could even be a switcheroo. And so we have 6 going in. Reaver's Row is going to be activating. And this is also a really good game of chicken that you could be essentially playing here, because even with the hand knowledge, it's like, okay, I know what you have. Oh, interesting. Looks like this is just going to be a straight up trade at that point. with the Mind Splitter still being in base. Oh, and then on accident created gold instead of mechs. Been there. That's hilarious. And then looks like the Darius is going to be attacking in at that point for 7. Now, of course, on the activation of the ability, could maybe play something, but looks like is going to be good there. Again, another Reaver's Row is going to be activated here. And it's currently 7-7. And still potentially could have an answer with like Kaisa, for example, going in after the fact and being able to play Smokescreen. But it looks like a switcheroo, not going to be activated at that point. That's a dead card. And so that's going to be a trade as the Kaisa moves in to go up to 3 and drawing a very much needed card. And not only that, it could be holding down the fort here with some cards to be able to utilize, but it looks like a Noxus Hopeful is going to be setting up the board state, maybe a little bit more important, so that on the following turn, you can continue to meet the aggression that Barfling is able to dish out. But still, this is going to be tough. 5 cards in hand. 8 runes for Draven. The nice part is that's the scariest part, though, is that Corey is tapped out, and a tapped out Kaisa is one of the best opportunities you could ever hope for. Because it's basically like, all right, well, it doesn't matter. I get to do whatever I want, and I know that you have no responses. And that is a very powerful advantage. I mean, heck, you don't even have to use your Thunder Song this turn. And so, again, another Mind Splitter coming out. And it looks like we got double Smokescreen and a Piercing Light. I mean, that's already kind of scary. Piercing Light can be a repeated card, dealing 4 to a lot of units. And then even with something like Smokescreen, you could be targeting like a Mind Splitter in this case. And that alone could be a board wipe. So very good choice right there. But you still have the rest of the board that you need to worry about. And that's going to be a pass. 9 runes for Kaisa. And this is going to be a big deciding turn. 1 rune at the ready. Not necessarily anything to worry about. No way to play much else. And so it looks like we are going to be going 4-3. I don't think there's any worry about a Hextech Ray or anything from Draven. I would be absolutely baffled if they ever did play it like a Hextech Ray. But that would be a really good play at that point. But again, just because no one expects it. But that's going to be a big win right there as Corey goes up. He's able to draw another card. And I mean, he has enough might to be able to trade here. So he is going to be moving in. The Mind Splitter might be backing out. Reaver's Row will be activating first here. And so, yeah, it looks like the Mind Splitter is going to be backing out. The mech is going to get destroyed, but that's going to be a stronghold on that battlefield. And we got to be worried about maybe some rebukes or something like that. As 4 runes, though, are tapped, this could be the end for the Mind Splitter, or maybe just another Noxus Hopeful. It always hurts, though, when you hard cast a Noxus Hopeful. Oh, I've had to do that a couple of times, and it never feels good. Okay, good. There's a Kaisa. And with 5, you do have to be a little bit worried about that because the Mind Splitter could move in. The Smokescreen could activate, and then you could still play the Rebuke after the fact. But even like something like a Smokescreen and Void Seeker could be a big deciding factor here. But 8 runes at the ready as Mind Splitter moves into Reaver's Row. That's going to be 7-7. Reaver's Row activates first, and then if they stay, then Mind Splitter will get priority with Barfling, but it looks like a spinning axe is going to be coming in. That is going to auto-equip. That's going to go up to 10 might for the Mind Splitter. Then again, here comes the smoke screen. That's going to be minusing 4 down to 6. So now they are winning by 1. Is that going to be enough here? Everything resolves, and now you have the chance to open up a new chain potentially. So if they have a rebuke, Barfling could play that here. But it looks like it's going to be a trade, and that is a very big win there. But even with that, now the Darius is going to be readying up, seeing himself as the second card, equipping the blade. That's going to be up to 10 as it moves right back in against the Kaisa. You got to be careful here, though. If there is a Void Seeker, that's going to deal 5 damage. Nope, that's not going to be enough. That's going to be 9, not 10. So again, drawing a card for a 1 combat there, but this is going back and forth. And I mean, it's really coming down to who can draw better at this point. But I mean, at the same time, Corey has a good chance to win this with the amount of cards and runes that he has in hand currently. He's going to be moving up to 6. He's going to be moving up to 6. And then a lot of runes as a Falling Star is going to be coming in at that point. You have no worries about Hard Bargain, no worries about anything added on, and nothing targets at a battlefield. So if that is a fight or flight or anything along those lines, it won't matter because both spells do not have a preference on target location. And so this could be a very big turn, as Kaisa could also be drawing another card and going up 7 to 5. This could be Draven being taken out by Kaisa. I mean, we're in game 3 right now. Very telling here. And it looks like, yeah, that is going to be exactly what happens. And here we go with the smoke screen, of course, finishing it off. They knew the play. They were probably just saying that, being cordial there. But it looks like the Kaisa is going to be moving in, going up to 7 and drawing a much-needed card. And then with 7 runes, going to be passing with 5 runes at that point. Now, you can back up the... My guess is, you'll just back up the bot, or the mech. Oh, and that's going to be it. Barfling has been taken down by Corey Millhouse playing Kaisa. You love to see it. That is a match and a half. And honestly, I was absolutely shocked because in game 1, I mean, we saw that Draven was able to really run the board. He was able to control things. But at the same time, game 2, game 3, there was a lot of difficulty trying to get around the spells and avoiding a lot of combat there. And so, I mean, it can come down to a couple of plays if you just happen to not be able to draw the cards that you need. If you don't have a lot of the fighter flights, I don't necessarily like switcheroo in a Kaisa matchup. It feels like a kind of bad card in this case, because again, if you end up not being able to have the answer for the removal, well, what switcheroo do? It's a dead card at that point. And so, yeah, I mean, great play by Corey Millhouse and a very, very well done match there for both competitors. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket, see what we have there as the end of round 2 is starting to come together. Now, of course, we have Jay Shoop and Mystic Potato. Both are dropped here, unfortunately. But otherwise, we still have a couple of matches that are finishing up. Barfling and Corey Millhouse are going to be reporting here soon. And other than that, we are waiting for 2 additional matches with about 15 minutes left in the match. Likewise, I mean, we still have a good number of undefeated here. And it looks like also... Yeah, okay, so we are still waiting. I'm like, wait, nope, that's not ties. That's just not reported yet. So still a couple of undefeated, though. So watching Vic go 2-0 again, that Ornn is something else, something to really keep an eye on. Love seeing Matt being able to do good. Al has had some great games, and Sari. Now, Al, keep in mind, he is playing Lux right now and going 2-0, which is just absolutely, I mean, I am absolutely shocked by that. Really, I really am. And so let's see. Al went against J-Chan. Are you kidding me? J-Chan usually runs Darius or Draven. So J-Chan lost to Al running Lux. That is very telling. That's insane. Oh, man, I love to see that. A lot of good competition here. And again, like I said, one thing that I really love is, again, like J-Chan, very competitive player here. He's been on the Runes and Rift tournaments. He's won some Rune and Rift tournaments and been able to do really good with his Draven deck. But, I mean, Lux looks like it was able to do what it needed to do and had some really good wins there. So, again, just very well done by all competitors here. Love to be able to see that. And we'll see what ends up happening here. And so, yeah, with that, guys, I'm going to be taking a quick break, grabbing some more water and getting things, and then we'll get back here and wait for round number 3. Yeah, I can do Lux next round. Okay, here's Terra's stream while we wait.
Another thousand-tailed watcher.
Yeah, off the top, baby.
Right off the top.
Dude, I'm high, bro.
Me too,
Deck,
bro.
bottom.
And then
With their match, yeah, he specifically he knew that he had the smoke screen, and so as soon as you saw the falling star, it's like, yeah, I know, you know, and they just removed it, and then he basically had to tap and reveal the smoke screen at that point. So because the hand had already been revealed, Mind Splitter, and that's the hard part too. We don't hear the conversation, and so he's like, yeah, you got it. Okay, cool, yeah, cool. I'll just, you know.
Well, at least maybe I get a spell. Let's go here. I hope that you don't get a spell this time, even though you got a spell every time.
Okay, let's reveal. Manage top. Show one more. All right, my friend.
Damn, you got a spell. It's crazy.
Two hand.
Alrighty.
And that trades.
Alright. Cool. And then I'll pass.
Well, I think I need to do the let's just pay the 8.
Yep.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the 8. I'm going to cycle 2. I'm gonna get this big girl out.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Let's walk the watcher over here.
Okay, we'll trigger finally. Oh my god. Okay.
And I'll move the hopeful up here.
Yep.
Gonna tap 2. Get the sentry up here. Oh, sorry. The battlefield has to happen first, right? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter too much. But
Yeah, you can just go ahead and do the battlefield now.
and that goes to.
Okay, let's see.
Discard.
Whoops.
Alrighty. No, you don't mill. You don't mill when it goes to trash like that.
I'll get
Gonna
my point
check
for
on if we
conquering.
have any more drops or anything.
I'll pass.
Gosh, kind of close game. It's like you could even.
Alright, we'll do 1. Bottom and break the gold. Punch first on my traveling merchant. Is it at 7? We'll move here. On move, we'll discard a traveling merchant to draw a card.
Oh, the ultimate disrespect. Discarding a traveling merchant to draw a traveling merchant. Been there. Yeah, sorry. He's the last match we're waiting for. So we'll be back at it here pretty soon.
It will trade, but I'm going to Ray as well.
I need a Foff, or I need a Fizz, or I need a Rebuke. All right.
Okay. Draw a card.
Sounds good. We'll go here. Bottom of the top two. Oh, you got something? Sorry.
No, that's good. You're good.
Okay, bottom of the top two. And then I can't go to 7 from here, so I mean, I can't go to 8, so I draw a card. It's not exactly it, but we might be closer. I guess there's one thing that I'm looking for. We'll go this. This is up now too. This, break 2. Trigger for on the hunt. Ready both my homies.
Trying to just dig for the answers. Oh, that's not what you need.
That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, you get it.
Alrighty, man. I'll just play the 8 out.
Yep,
4.
double. Oh, man. All right, guys. So it looks like we very well are now going to be going into the next match. So we'll see. Let me go ahead and get things going. So, yeah, we are going to be going into round number 3 as soon as it is announced. And so let's see. That means that's going to be ending at about 10 or about 15 after the hour. Yeah, that's accurate. All right, round 3 is paired, and it looks like just one per. Okay, there we go. Oops, let's go up. And all right, so round 3 is paired, and it looks like, yeah, we got a couple of really good matches here coming up. And it looks like, J-Cham versus Game Slayer is going to be a really good one. But also looks like Al versus Sari is the one that we are going to be watching, just so you guys know. That is going to be the Lux deck with Al. So we'll see what it actually ends up being. I'm going to go and get us into said lobby, and we will go from there. But yeah, should be a very exciting match as we start going into round number 3. One more round to go after this one, so stay tuned. All right, guys, I think I just got the room code, so let me get everything finished setting up real quick, and then we will be good. Just have one quick change to make. Okay, let's see. Still waiting for another to join. And then, yeah, we'll get started. Thanks for your patience, guys. There we go. All right. So I got everything pulled up. Just got to make a couple of changes. Oh, man. So Lux versus Aurelia. Here we go, guys. Welcome and thank you so much for being here. As we go into round number 3, we have Lux versus Aurelia. And this is going to be an interesting one. I don't necessarily know which way it could go, but we are starting with an Aspirant's Climb, which is going to mean that this game needs to go to 9 in order to win. And then on the flip side, the Dreaming Tree, which the first time you choose a friendly unit with a spell here each turn, draw 1. So some good options here, and something that could be maybe a little bit difficult to try to work with. And so we'll see what might be happening here as they do their mulligans. Oh, whoops, they asked. And so, yep, here we go. And it looks like Aurelia is going to be going first, winning the draw here as we move in with a Tide Turner coming down. Maybe not necessarily the start that you want, but some kind of drop is better than nothing. Now, keep in mind, so far tonight, the Lux defeated. And with the card sharp coming down, that is going to be creating a gold for Lux. And if the opponent wants to create a gold, well, then that means that card sharp makes 2 gold for the opponent. And it looks like that gift is going to be graciously accepted. Now, that's going to be the big thing here, though, is that Aurelia is a very, very power-hungry deck. If you watch my videos, that's one of the things that I say more often than not, is how much power you have to sacrifice to be able to utilize Aurelia here. And so you can attach Aurelia, you can target her, but as soon as you target her, you know, say you add the Guardian Angel, well, that's 1 rune sacrificed. Then to ready her up, you got to recycle another rune. So you're already back to the turn that you've started with. And so that's something that can be very difficult to try to deal with and figure out. Now, Lux, on the flip side, is very good at high-cost spells, meaning that when you play a spell that costs 5 or more, then you are able to draw a card. So just like that, we are going to be moving in here with Lux being able to maybe have a trick up their sleeves. That is going to be a fight or flight that is going to fling that card sharp back. Oh, but it looks like they are going to be opting to send back the Tide Turner instead. That's going to be a draw off of the Dreaming Tree. So still a good answer there. And also, that depends on the hand that they might have here. I mean, as an Aurelia player, generally, trying to get some points going is going to be good. But there we go with Jace coming in, and you know what's coming. It is the Armory that is going to be played for free there. Just going to need to recycle one gold to be able to play it in this case, as 3 runes or 3 1-mite units hit the board. That is going to be potentially a really big difference maker there. And the Jace Armory combo is going to be so difficult to deal with, especially going into this on turn 2 to be able to get said combo out. So now we'll see what else we can do to get into this game. If Aurelia is going to be able to get some points scored here. Again, you're seeing what it's taking here to get the Aurelia readied up. The gold production is going to be absolutely vital here. And one of the hardest parts too is when Aurelia is sitting around on her turn or on her opponent's turn. That is really a time to be able to take down said Aurelia. So it's something you have to be careful of, but the Charm is going to be taking the Jace over to the Dreaming Tree, and the Jace is going to be immediately taken out. So a good response right there. And the Tide Turners are on one side, and again, though, that rune count is pretty low there, as Lux can start getting some things in action. Now, the biggest thing here is that Lux has a lot of spells that target, and there is Deflect that is up and about. And so even though Lux does have a good amount of runes, you got to be a little bit careful, because there's times where the Lux is going to feel just not good here. And this is probably going to be one of the harder matchups that they've had. Now, again, they took down J-Chan, which I believe was running a Draven here. So if a Lux is able to take down a Draven, I don't know if J-Chan, sometimes he does play something maybe a little bit more fun. But I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Wages of Pain coming down to take out the Tide Turner. The Tide Turner is going to be moving back and being taking care of the Zhonya's Hourglass. So you got a little bit of leeway here on what else you can do. As another Wages of Pain. Now, of course, there is a deflect cost that needs to be paid here. And another gold that is going to be made. And it looks like the units are going to be moving in here. That's going to be removing the Guardian Angel. That is 2 things that could be used to keep the units alive. And we are at 2 to 3 with, again, we got to go to 9 here. And 3 more units are coming down onto the board. So, I mean, already, I got to say, the Vanguard Armory is one of the best starts of Lux, and that really might be the big difference maker on getting to the point where you are able to bring the game to your opponent here. One of the best starts is another Zhonya's Hourglass is coming out here. And, I mean, Lux does have a little bit of gear destruction. I don't know if they necessarily will be keeping that in the main deck. We have been seeing that a lot more, just with how gear-heavy this set is. So, again, though, here we go. We'll see an Imperial Decree coming out. Now, you do have to watch out for a couple of answers that could be stemming from this, but it looks like the Aurelia does not have any of the answers, so 1 damage is going to be enough to be able to take out the Zhonya's Hourglass and move the unit back to base. So right now we're going to be at 4-4 after this, and another 3 units are going to be created. Now you got to be careful too, because yeah, you could play the Lux at this point. Oh, no, Lux costs 4 if I recall correctly. Yeah, Lux costs 4. So barely missing the ability to play a Lux. Could play another Wages of Pain potentially, but right now it's been a great start here. And I've been really impressed what the Lux has been able to do. So there we go with another card sharp coming down. That's going to be another 3 gold that will be put out onto the battlefield. And right now, Aurelia is at 7 runes. But the biggest thing is, so far, hasn't been able to get a lot of cards in hand. So the nice part about going against the Victor deck is a lot of times there are going to be not Victor. Wow. The Lux deck, it's going to be easier to take over the battlefields again. So somehow Lux is going to need to be able to answer the aggression here. And if there's maybe a singularity here, that could be a step in the right direction. But still, with 4 cards in hand, it could be a chance that you would have a singularity and then some to be able to win this game. But I mean, if Lux has even another Imperial Decree, I think that would completely shut down the Aurelia here. So yeah, it looks like we're considering our options here. We'll see what they end up picking. But it looks like another 3 units are going to be created, a step in the right direction. That is a lot on the board, though. Not necessarily a lot of might. Oh my gosh, all the 2 drops. Yep, okay. Well, you've built yourself an army. And that's going to be 8 at that point. 1 more point needed to be able to win here. And so going to be moving back and saying, hey, up to you now. Now, the scariest part about that is if there is potentially another Imperial Decree or something along those lines. Oh, nope, they already scored on both, so they don't need to ready up. I was like, wait, they might, no. But it's still an Imperial Decree on your opponent's turn is an action card, so could be an option that they could use at that point. But yeah, still Aspirin's Clem. I think they were checking on, hey, game 2, and it's like, no, we got a little bit more to go here. And that's something really easy to forget about. Sometimes it's like, oh, I got to 8 points, and then you're like, oh, wait, nope, we got 1 more. That's tough, because that can be something that could cost you the game here. Now, of course, in this case, I don't think that's necessarily the case, but it very well could have been. Only 2 cards in hand for Lux, though, so already just a good chance, but there is a lot here. So yeah, this is going to be a big turn. Again, some reinforcements coming, but it's only both battlefields will need to be conquered at this point for something to happen. But it looks like Ride the Wind is going to be coming in on the Aurelia into Dreaming Tree. And so if by some miracle Aurelia is able to hold here, that's going to be also chosen. So that's going to be adding +1 going up to 8. Now, it looks like the showdown will still resolve on the Honest Broker's side. But on the flip side, Dreaming Tree is now going to be having a showdown. And if Lux does not have the answer, we are going to be going into game 2. But it looks like 8 being tapped. Is that going to be a Thousand Tail? A Thousand Tail Watcher is going to be coming in. But you still have 3 cards in hand. This is going to be a combat that needs to be won here. And if there's any disciplines or unguards, or both for that matter. Now, luckily, there is no shortage of units. And so, yeah, it looks like 3 recruits are going to be created. I'll be interested to see where they drop. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Go up to 5 there. Now, of course, they do have a lot of buffs, but if you choose a unit, you know, you can ready them up. And also, with the Swift Boots, this is going to be a big deal. Now, I was a little bit worried, but because it was the winning point, they were essentially only able to draw a card. They weren't able to claim the 9th point. If they hold, then that will count, and they will be able to get to the 9th point as Aurelia. So we've had some really unique matches tonight. Really unique. So, yeah, that is a defense and a half, or an offense and a half to be able to take this battlefield. Oh, my gosh. Can't believe that. But, I mean, here we are. And then a Ride the Wind to the other side of the battlefield. That's going to be adding another... Should be just, what, another 1, though. Oh, because it readied him up, so that does. And that is going to be game number 1. But yeah, it looks like Aurelia might have forgotten to draw for the 8 points, but still, that was a game. And Aurelia was able to really utilize the maneuverability and the Zonia's Hourglass. The Guardian Angel was one of the biggest proponents on what Aurelia was able to do against Victor. Now we're going into game number 2, and and Lux. It's Lux. And Lux is going to need to be able to continue to bring the aggression here. We had such a great start, but we didn't necessarily see a lot of the removal, a lot of ways to be able to draw cards from Lux. You need to be able to play the spells that allow you to get the card draw. And if you don't, well, then you're just kind of out of luck. So this game 2 is going to be very telling. Is the Lux going to be 2-0'd, or will she be able to bring the game to Aurelia? Again, both these competitors in round 3 are still undefeated, which is pretty incredible to see. I mean, the Aurelia, you kind of suspect that, but the Lux being undefeated, especially with the matchups today, have been very telling. And so, yeah, here we go into this round 3, game number 2. As we have the Void Gate to be able to deal 1 additional damage. And then on the flip side, Obelisk of Power. So competitors will be starting with 1 additional rune. And it's been one that's grown in popularity here in set number 2. In set 1, it was kind of utilized in, not in Victor, in, the Aurora decks. We saw it in Master Yi, a little bit in set, but otherwise it wasn't necessarily used all that much. But in set 2, it's been one to make a big difference where, especially in like the Draven matchup, when you're going second against Draven, you run Obelisk of Power so you get that little bit extra rune help so that you can try to match that aggression and get into the game that much quicker. Draven doesn't have a whole lot of help getting to 3 runes turn 1. Now, 5 runes turn 2 is a big difference maker, but that can be that little bit more of an advantage to be able to take the game to your opponent. And I really like that we've seen an Obelisk of Power have a lot more gameplay. So here we go with a stacked deck coming in. Being able to draw a card right off the bat. 2 more to be able to play Azonia's Hourglass. And now this is where it can get interesting. And Aurelia turn 2 is very possible here. Now, we do have a salvage coming in that's immediately going to be destroying said Zonia's Hourglass. No Defy in hand, though. And that's going to be a card drawn off of that. But we need to start getting some units out on the field. And that Poro is going to be a step in the right direction. One day we're going to get like a Misfortune Pirate deck, and it could be really cool. But again, we don't have necessarily the correct colors to be able to do so yet, because Plundering Poro is blue and Misfortune is purple and orange, unfortunately. Theme decks I don't think are very possible here, but here comes a Fight or Flight to push back. Again, that's going to be a good job on the stall play. This is going to be slowing down the Aurelia a little bit, because where you would want to get out Aurelia at this point, if there's no way to keep her alive, you do not want to risk that. So here comes the Lux, a very strong card at this point, being able to add 2, and you can use this to play spells. So again, going to be very interesting to see what might be happening here at that point. But the Aurelia is him. We are going to be risking that and seeing what the Lux is going to be able to do. A Singularity could be scary, but instead it's going to be a hard cast of the Vanguard Armory, creating 3 1/1 tokens. Now, we did see what kind of impact that had on the game last turn, but are we going to be able to then actually use that this turn? And Call of the Week! Is there going to be a Defy? I don't think so. But instead, there is going to be a hard bargain. And that is going to be stopping the Call of the Week. That was close. Hard bargain for the win there, to be able to stop the loss of the Aurelia. And the best part is about Call of the Week, it does not target. And so if he were to take out that Aurelia, that would have been a devastating blow. And I would really say at that point, very, very high chance that game 2 went to Lux at that point. You take out a key proponent like Aurelia, they don't run a lot of units in this deck. That's the downside of this deck. And so here we go, tapping 3. That is going to be Boots of Swiftness, immediately equipping that and paying for the legend cost to be able to ready her up. That's going to be going up to 8 at that point and moving over to the other battlefield, immediately taken. Yeah, no opposition there in that case. And now Aurelia is going to be at 6. Again, a very dangerous moment, but still 7 runes up for Aurelia, but 4 cards in hand. You know, you got some options here. But Lux, again, we haven't seen any spell removal to deal that devastating damage here. But here we go with Lux adding 2. And that's going to be for 5. That might be an Imperial Decree. So if there's a Fight or Flight, or not a Fight or Flight, if there is a... Now, Fight or Flight's in action. That could still be played on the showdown. I was going to say Ride the Wind, but in this case, it's going to be Flash to be able to move the unit right back to the base and allow it to fight another day. So still a really good answer, because that was almost a wasted... Oh, but Bellows Breath for the answer. No. So still going to be able to take out the Aurelia. A great play there. But not so fast, saying, I'm still alive. Now, if there's another Bellows Breath, I don't think Aurelia with 2 cards in hand would have another response. Lux's ability would have been better as Ezreal's ability. That would have been really cool to see. I mean, her ability is still decent, but it's not great, you know? But if it was like it when you target 2, I mean, blue and yellow, they have the ability to do so incredibly well, and that would be so powerful, especially the Lux and Ezreal combo. That'd be really cool to see. So here we go with a card sharp again. Some more gold is going to be created here, and it looks like only one. Aurelia says, nope, not doing that. And the Aurelia lives for another round, so there's a good chance that both battlefields are going to be conquered again. There's only one rune left up here for the Lux. And again, not necessarily a whole lot to do, but a Discipline is going to draw a card and allow Aurelia to be readied up. You have the runes to be able to do so. That's the biggest mountain for Aurelia to climb. Once you get enough runes, you really sit in a good spot here. And so here we go with the Guardian Angel. That's going to allow the Aurelia to move back into base. Again, a lot of runes that were sacrificed there. But all in all, still sitting in a really good spot. And now, again, this is going to be a big turn for Lux. Yes, you are going to be able to take back 2 points. And it seems like we're at this back and forth, essentially, on who's going to be able to take both. Aurelia doesn't have a lot of direct removal. They have things like Charm and whatnot, but not really anything else. And so that's going to be the big thing. 2 cards in hand. So how can you take out Aurelia? Again, you got to destroy it twice at this point. That's the hard part. And I don't know if Lux is going to have a way to be able to do so. So yeah, we'll see if they do have any responses. But again, odds of them having a not so fast, odds of them having any answers like that are pretty slim, all things considered. And so here we go. Some runes are being tapped here. Looks like it's going to be another Poro, another 3 units made. And it's interesting that the Aurelia is struggling with the card draw. Need to be able to get the answers going here, because if not, could be too little too late. And so Drag Under is going to be removing one of the cards here. And now, of course, Lux's ability is going to be activating to be able to draw a card. First time in this match that's happened to my knowledge. But here comes a Discipline. Again, the ability to draw another one and then ready it up to be able to attack back in and get another point. And so Obelisk Power is going to be attacked and conquered. And unless they have another one, nope, that's it. So could maybe go a little bit of overwhelming here to get rid of the Guardian Angel. And then again, if there's a Cull of the Week, that could be a big game changer there. So again, though, you got to figure out how to take over this battlefield. At least they are 1 point behind, but it's still going to be a tough hill to climb to try to get into this battle. And so, I mean, you gotta be wondering what they have in hand. And it's like, well, and also what can we do to try to get around this, you know? And so it looks like a little bit of reinforcement, though I don't think that's going to necessarily do too much here. And, I mean, Lux, both games, has been able to draw a lot, or, you know, been able to create a lot of units. But the biggest thing is still being able to have the answers needed at that point. And if you don't, then the game, it doesn't matter how many 1 might, 2 might units you have, you're just going to give it to your opponent. So looks like, yeah, going to be going for a full reinforcement. Now, the scary part about that is that also can be very telling on what might be in hand. And you're also trusting that you're reading the 2 cards in hand might not be the answer here for the Lux. Or for the Aurelia. And so it could very well all come down to this. Can go up to 7, but again, another unit being played out. That's going to be some gold created if it does get killed there, but going to be 6-6. And I mean, already at 8. On one side, though, we have, what is that? 3? Yeah. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on the flip side. And it's like also, though, if you end up having the signature spell of Aurelia, you'd be able to make one of those 0 and you would go up 3. So it would be, oh man, 11 at that point. That could be close. And if you have, I doubt that they have 2 signature spells. But even just 1 signature spell could be enough for the swing here. But if not, you're giving Lux the chance to draw the top answer here. But it looks like it is going to be attacking in. And going with a Defiant Dance to be able to add 3. Now, of course, that is choosing. Oh, that is choosing too. So that's adding 4. Or no, that is 3. Sorry. Yeah, that is 3. But that still is going to be a 5 difference there. Oh, I tried to mute. Sorry, guys. Whew. But yeah, no, it's going to be, I mean, it's all going to come down to this. But the Lux is tapped to be able to add 2. And then a Recruit, the Vanguard, is going to be coming down at that point, adding 4 1 might units here. And also, though, a hard bargain. 4 is going to be paid. And so there is not going to be enough, and that spell is going to be stopped in its tracks. And so that very well could be a devastating blow to try to get in there. But only 1 card in hand for the Lux. And so, again, you're really trying to get there, but still at 7 points for Seri, it is not looking good for Lux right now. They need to get some kind of answer to be able to take control of this game. But at the same time, how are you going to be able to do so with the Guardian Angel still attached? And there is the Coal of the Week coming in. That is going to remove the Guardian Angel at that point. And that is going to go up to 7. And I think that... Are they going to game 3? I know he showed... Or no, he was at 6, yeah. So, yeah, he was able to take it. Okay. That was kind of a interesting end to the game. I didn't... But still, that Call of the Week was a great answer to at least force the Aurelia away. But, man, gosh, that can be a very tough situation. But we're going into game number 3, Lux versus Aurelia. Aurelia might be going first here again. They will get the choice. And we saw that Aurelia was able to take it pretty decently. But if Lux is able to get the removal going, then it can be a very difficult matchup here for Aurelia to stay in it. But again, you got to be hoping that there's some good gear removal here for Lux. But we'll see what happens as we go into game number 3 of round 3. So, and with this, I mean, we already have a step in the right direction, though, with Stellicorn Herder. One of the biggest things that Aurelia had been struggling with so far was not having a lot of card draw. Well, here, now you have a lot of card draw. And on top of that, if you go to Sunken Temple and you play like a Discipline to make it get above, or to get to that 5, then on Conquer, not only on the move, but on Conquer, then you're able to pay an additional 1. Oh, but 5 is being tapped. Is this going to be the spell that creates 4 1/1s? No, a drag under in this case. Now, of course, this can still be not so fast. And it looks like Hard Bargain is going to be shutting down the Aurelia, or the Lux in this case. That is another 5. And that set back the Lux the entire turn. They passed at that point. And then the one spell that they tried to use just wasn't able to get there. But there's the salvage coming in and met with the Defy. The answer so far for Aurelia is there. And not only that, the Stellicorn will be able to continue to maintain card draw here. And so, yeah, here we go. Just playing a Lux out at that point. That's going to be a 2-0 right now, and the Stellicorn Herder would be able to potentially back out at that point, immediately draw another card. And this battlefield is going to be really interesting to see, because when you hold, if you have 7+ units here, you win the game. And so even if Aurelia happens to get a lot of points here, it could be taken from Aurelia just like that. Now, of course, the maneuverability does make this a little bit difficult to do, but already a step in the right direction as the Vanguard Armory is coming out to create 3 units. And so here we go with Siri being able to get there, going to be paying 1 to draw a card. Stellicorn on the move is going to draw another card, and you're able to see how many answers now they're going to be able to have as a charm is activated, taking out the Lux. That's going to be a devastating blow there. And we haven't seen a single singularity yet. But still, at the same time, Lux has been able to put in so much work here. Been able to get a lot of great plays. And I mean, even still, if it ends up losing to an Aurelia, it still went, 1-2 against even an Aurelia and still being and was undefeated for the first 2 rounds of the night. Gotta say, very well done here by Al. And so, again, we're going to be moving in, going up to 1 at this point still. 4 runes at the ready for Aurelia with 6 cards in hand. So whatever you do end up sending over, I mean, you even have 8 runes, but still. Don't necessarily love that as 2 is tapped. Going to be doing a Cull of the Week. So, yeah, we'll be getting that. And yeah, Ek Pilot, I'll get you removed, man. No worries. Good to have you, though. Thank you. Yep, you are dropped. And so already being able to create 3 more units. Still has a lot of runes to be able to utilize here. Going to be tapping them all for Recruit the Vanguard. So that's going to be 4 more units being put into the back of the battlefield. And this could be also the next big push because they might be trying to go into the Grand Plaza and then maybe try to have a response to stop Aurelia from being able to conquer and then winning. I mean, heck, if there was like a grand stratagem, not that Lux would necessarily be running it, but if there was a grand stratagem, that could be the end all there. And so there we go with the Tide Turner. That's going to be selecting the Aurelia, allowing her to move back. Aurelia's legend ability then can be activated to then immediately move into the other battlefield. That is going to be 9 there. And I mean, even still with 4 runes at the ready, Siri is doing everything to have the answers at hand. So many cards in hand, 4 runes left to be had. And so again, you got to be wondering with so many units, 9 runes, 6 cards in hand for the Lux, what do you do? I mean, that was a really great switch around, too, to be able to get the Aurelia onto the other side. Yeah, the hardest part about commentating, though, is when you're by yourself, you're just talking to yourself for hours. But no, this is going to be, I mean, gosh. Right now, the game is on Lux. 9 runes at the ready. Again, 6 cards in hand. How do you get around this? And you got to be very careful with the 4 runes and 7 cards in hand for Lux. Again, Cull of the Week, if you happen to have that, very well could be countered. Again, though, I think we've only seen 1 Defy so far in game. Yep, we've only seen 1 Defy so far. And so it's very possible that another Defy could be coming out. I know Aurelia usually will be using 2 Defies. And they're already near halfway through their deck. And so I'm going to be wondering what kind of sequencing we'll see here. And it looks like we're going to be starting out with trying to do a trade here with the Tide Turner. So right now it's 2-2. If there's any reaction here, there's a Discipline that's able to come in and add 2 Might. That's going to also be drawing another card for the Aurelia. More answers to be had with still 2 runes left up at the ready. Now the Tide Turner's at 4. But the answer remains, here we go, with an Imperial Decree. So now with any damage taken this turn, kill said unit. Now this is basically a rule change, so it does not target here. But with the final 2 runes, it looks like Flash is going to be activated, allowing for both units to retreat back to the battlefield. And another Imperial Decree is thwarted by Flash. Now, luckily, Lux will still be able to draw a card off of that. But still, that's got to hurt. And now, how do you prepare for the defense against a Aurelia coming in this next turn? There's going to be a lot of cards. 8 runes. You're left with 4. And I don't think there's anything that can be done here to stop the Aurelia from winning this game. I could be wrong. I probably am. But this is still a very difficult situation for the Lux to be finding herself in. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Ragnarok. I enjoy it a lot. Oh, and he bellows breath, though. Okay, so the rules still stand. And if you repeat it, that can take out the... Yeah. That could have taken out, right? You would have to repeat it, though. That's the hard part. So here we go with all of the marbles on the table here. And that is going to be a Grand Plaza. Now you need to hold. You have 3 runes left. And Aurelia, I mean, even if you just conquer 1, you need to conquer the Grand Plaza. Everything else doesn't necessarily matter at this point. If Aurelia can conquer the Grand Plaza, there is still a game here, and she is pushing for game. At the same time, if she can take the Grand Plaza, ride the wind, or even now ride the wind over, there's that chance. And so, yeah, she's going to be able to get in, activate the Sunken Temple, be able to draw a card. Now, 7 runes to still work with is very scary to try to get around, and we're going to get a Fight or Flight on the Aurelia. That's going to allow the activation of the Legend ability to be utilized here, immediately readying up the Aurelia. That's 2 times she has been chosen, so that's going to be 2 might. Or no, that's going to be 1 might, sorry. The Legend doesn't choose, but a Discipline does, and that's going to be another 3 might added, as it is 11 to however much that is. 5, 9? Yeah, and it looks like that is going to be the game in this case, as the Aurelia takes it with a lot of cards in hand. That would be the answers here in this case. So a great job at being able to do so. Now, one of the cool combos here, too, to consider is even if Guardian Angel did cause the Aurelia to die, you just play another card that targets the Aurelia, and like Ride the Wind, for example, and you can move right back in and finish the job that Aurelia started. So they had a lot of options to be able to get things moving again, and a well-done job from Aurelia. Siri was playing that incredibly well to be able to get the answers. And so, guys, I mean, Lux, though, I don't know about you. That Lux was pretty interesting to watch. And she might have been a little bit more powerful here in this next match. So again, we are still waiting for 1 more match to finish, or it looks like 2 more matches to finish. So do you have any competitive budget deck ideas for Spiritforged, like Yasuo was for Origins, or any anti-meta deck? Like, yeah, exactly what Spartan said. Probably one of the best anti-meta decks is going to be Victor. Let me go to Piltover real quick. Because, yeah, he just has the ability to do direct spell removal, which, excuse me, I don't know how to breathe. Has direct spell removal, which is very helpful there. Let's see if let's actually go over to cards, card gallery. Let me just put all of the legends. I wish there was a way to, like, get rid of just the regular. If I do standard, good, that removes everything. Okay, so there's been a really interesting aggro misfortune, though it's not going to do anything. If you already have a Kaisa deck, it's going to be very cheap to upgrade. That's a very good option, too. Jax actually might be one of the cheapest decks to build, if I had to say. And he's also a sleeper. I think Jax might be one of the sleepers of this meta. It did just get 8th place in a regionals. Its signature spell is incredibly powerful. It has a really good legend ability. Can I get any news of Spiritforged? Yes, it's coming out next Friday. There you go. No, I don't know. Yeah, so we have the final regionals that is happening in China over the weekend. Draven was finally defeated. In fact, it was unable to even get into the finals in this case, which was a really big deal there. And so that was something that I was absolutely ecstatic about there. And that was awesome to be able to see. And so we'll see what ends up happening here. I just got to watch the leaderboard just in case here, guys. But yeah, really happy to see how that's gone. Fiora is one of my favorites for this set. Rek'Sai's okay. Lucian also might be a really good deck to build. Azir could be actually a really cheap deck. He's had some good appearances, but you do have to rely on having a lot of gear in hand so that you can create the Sand Soldiers, and he does fall to the gear removal from red. That just destroys all gear. If you end up playing that and you don't have the answers, then the game's kind of sucky for you. But Azir is a really good budget deck. I don't think he is going to be too expensive at all. So I would say probably Jax or Azir. But again, I don't know the prices yet on a lot of the cards for English. Brosifs. Yeah, let's get over to you, man. Let's see. Let me get that going. Yeah, let me get over to your game 3. Start playing it, though, so we don't get behind. But I'll join your... I'll join yours. Yeah. And so we'll see. We're almost at time, though, so keep that in mind. Oh, gosh. I absolutely love that. And so here we go, a Darius versus a Kai'Sa here as we are in game number 3 with the Darius being able to start right off the bat with a great start playing out the Faithful Manufactor. Now, again, if we're in game 3, that means the Darius was able to take down one of the games against Kai'Sa. And with going first, that might be something to really be mindful of. Now, again, I'm not going to necessarily worry about changing the names in particular here just because of time. But I will at least remove... Oh, I already had Kai'Sa. Nice, okay. So yeah, the links are now open. If you go to the Riot merch store and go to the Riftbound section, you're able to get that going. Yep. And you just enter, and then they'll start the drawings on the 5th. I'll find the link for you, too. I'll pull it up here real quick. So we'll see, but why is there an Ari there? That's weird. That's why. Oops. Lesson learned. Don't hit the eye on everything. We'll do it live. So here, let me pull up the link for you real quick. Because I can post links. No one else can for reasons, you know. But it looks like a Hextech Ray is going to be coming down to destroy the unit now. Also, really love that the BF sword is able to be equipped so well. And so we'll see what is able to be done here. So yeah, again though, a lot of units just were able to be dished out here. Now this is looking very familiar. I think this might be the first place of last regionals of the Kaisa deck, if I had to say. I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure it is. And so oh, nice. Wait, is that Corey? Or, oh, no, you're not on the list. Yeah, I knew you weren't on the list. You had some differences. But you're not running the Centaur anymore or whatever his name is. Or are you? Oh, there's the baited hook coming in. Now this could be a difference maker. Oh, and the sideboard. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Nice. No, I like your build. That was a good match you had. We watched you round 1. That was a really good match you had. Are you still undefeated, Corey? I could check, but I'd rather you type it. No. Oh, nice. 3-0. Well done. Well, if we only have one finals match, we'll watch you again. Oh, it's Corey and... Ooh. That could be a lot of fun. All right, so Aurelia versus Kaisa. That could be fun. There goes a thermo beam, though. That could be a devastating blow at that point. That's going to be killing the BF sword, the seal, and the baited hook. That's also one reason why I like playing the Fiora better, because if you had the signature spell at that point, you would have been able to stop that. Not only that, you would have been able to add 5 might to a unit, which can also make a unit mighty, and then you channel a rune, you know? So that's why I kind of believe that the Fiora hook is just the way to go. Your 8-card sideboard for Aurelia, oh gosh. Oh, that's amazing. I think we are just about to go turns. I'll let them know. They have 2 minutes before we start no, I think we have 7 minutes before we start turns. A little bit more casual right now. Let's see. Dropping. Thanks. See you next week. Okay. Beg dropped. Okay. So this section's right now is a little bit more casual for sure. Just because we can. Okay. Beg is officially dropped. Oh, yeah, we only have 2 3-0s, so yeah, we'll be watching you guys in the finals. Nice. That'll be really fun. And so there goes a Falling Star, though, that is going to be able to remove a lot of help there. But again, if you're destroying a Watchful Sentry, that might not do the most. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, clearing out one battlefield, that still is going to be a very vital card draw. The Darius is going to move into the other. That's going to be 7-5 at that point. And again, another card draw off of the Watchful Sentry. It's funny, though, because I became a YouTube dude and commentator. And I'm like oddly a little self-conscious of my voice, just a tiny bit. You know, little insecurities with Silent Night here as we end round 3 here momentarily. But, you know, my voice is a little bit, it's unique, but not necessarily like commentator ready, you know, kind of thing. So, because I also write and want to publish my own audiobook too. And it's like, well, I don't have, you know, maybe a voice that people want to listen to for 18 hours in that case, but Here we are. Nah, but it's I absolutely love this game, making the content, and especially casting. Absolutely love that. So it's been a dream to cast a regionals. That'd be really fun. All right, Tara. I'll drop you, man. Good to have you here, and yeah, great tournament, man. Really well done. So let's see what the timer does. So yeah, we got Beg dropped. Now time to drop the Terra. Yeah, he was playing a lot today already, too. Alrighty, so with that being said, how did Terra do? Oh, he won against Sec Pilot. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, that is a long day, though. And so still, though, with the Darius being out, that's going to be at 5. Though with only 2 cards in hand, it might be a little bit difficult to try to play out 2 cards, but still, I mean, you could play out even the second Darius, and that could still be a solid answer to be able to have there. So you got to be a little bit careful about how you go about that. Thank you so much for the raid here, Tara. Glad you had a great tournament. And also, thank you for the follow there, Decapod. Good to have you. For those of you just joining, of course, you've seen Terra throughout the entire tournament here, and we are going at the tail end of round 3. There's only 3 minutes left before I'm calling time, and they will be going to turns. But right now, it is a Darius versus a Kaisa in round 3, game 3. So it all comes down to this. And right now, the Kaisa's kind of been a little bit held back. Hasn't been able to really utilize the cards that they've had, and any card draw has been a little bit slower than expected here. So might be accelerating out of Kaisa, might be doing a Forerunner. Singularity? Oh, going for a Singularity onto the Darius. So might be a little bit of a risk taken there. Holy crap, 3 a.m. for your country. Well, good job there, Kochwich. Did I say that right? I hope I did. But still, the Kaisa coming in, being able to draw a card on the Conquer, that might be a step in the right direction. Again, Darius is only going to have 3 cards in hand at this point, and a Darius that does not have a lot of cards can be very difficult to try to get back into this game. But still, when you have a Darius that is still in the champion zone, that might be the key to getting back into this game. Oh my gosh, Sari, you are up late too. Holy crap. Well, great to have you guys here, because I know it's really sad that, you know, we can't necessarily get a ton of Europeans over here because of the time difference. And you cannot change the deck in the middle of the tournament. It's the same thing as your local Nexus night. The deck you show up with is the deck that you play with. Yep. Next week, you totally can. Yeah, 100%. You guys are always welcome here. And then the end of season tournament, which is going to be happening after week 8, is going to be on Saturday or Sunday, depending on what has the better availability for competitors. Oh. No, Al was playing Lux, right? The main reason why I played Renata, okay, I'll talk to him about that, and I'll reiterate. But yeah, thanks for telling me. So yeah, we'll get the Falling Star going down. That is going to be killing another Darius. I think that might be the thing that ends the Darius run here. Oh yeah, you did play Renata. I watched that. Yeah. That was a weird match. We went right into the tail end at the end of the time. Silent just didn't change the names, only the champions. Yeah. I only changed the champions. This isn't who they are. Sorry. I know that's a little bit confusing, but just it's a process sometimes to change all the names and everything, so. In that case, yeah, I didn't change it. This isn't who they are. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more clear on that, but joining a tail end of a game just so you guys aren't bored. Okay, yeah, Al played Lux. Oh, yeah, that is true, because what does Death Grip say? Kill a friendly unit and give plus might equal to its might to another friendly unit. Yeah, he can't play that. So we don't necessarily intervene at this point because we don't. And it looks like, yeah, the Kaisa ended up taking the game anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, sorry, guys. I get that was maybe a little bit confusing. Sorry about that. But, yeah, we're going to be looking at the final round. So let me get the Discord prepared for that ping. Round 4 is paired with the final round. So it looks like, I mean, we've had some really impressive matches so far, and it looks like the final match is going to be a Kaisa versus Aurelia, as two competitors are undefeated at this point. So definitely something to keep in mind here. It's been a lot of really fun games tonight. We've been able to see what Ornn could potentially do. And some really unique matchups, too. So it looks like Corey Millhouse versus Al in the final match. That's going to be one to watch, too, actually. I really like that. Now, likewise here, down on the bottom, we have Siri and Corey Millhouse that are still completely undefeated. Vit is going 2-1 with Ornn. Al is going 2-1 with Lux. So two things to really keep in mind there. Really cool to be able to see that. Matt Farb did unfortunately lose his match there, but still really cool to be able to see. And likewise, it looks like we are going to be watching Siri versus Big Critten. So we'll see, but this is going to be a really exciting match here. But it's also really odd that Corey is actually getting placed up against Al, especially with 2 undefeated. That's really weird. It's like, why did they get paired down? That's really weird. Maybe it's to no, they're, I don't know why they got paired down. I thought 100% that the system would have put Corey versus Siri at that point, because they both could be 4-0 at that point. And I only put for 4 rounds anyway. So, really weird. But oh well, that's what happens. I'll check the code on that later.
Corey.
Why?
Right.
Oh, there's 3. Oh, there's 3 3-0s. Oh, I see.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's why. I was wondering what happened. Oh,
Got
it finally
I'm in
updated.
match 3 then.
Yeah,
I see.
so Big
Okay,
Critten and
okay.
Corey and Siri, yeah, you're all undefeated.
But guys, GG's, I do have to drop, unfortunately. I have to be somewhere in the next 45 minutes, so I doubt I'll be able to make the both game or all 3 games if it goes that far. I apologize.
Nah, no worries.
Okay.
Good to know ahead of time.
But it was my first time joining the tournament. It was fun. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
That's
all
funny.
right. Well, looks like you're done, Siri.
All right, I'll go to my actual match.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm 4-0.
Yeah, you're 4-0. Good job. Well done.
No, the last round. No, come on. The last round is a nothing burger. No.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it's 3 a.m. for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, but it's good. I mean, one way or another, I got my 4-0 at my first time being here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, congrats to you. That's awesome.
Okay.
And get some good sleep.
Thank you. Yeah, I will. Good
night. And if you can't hear me. Okay, so we'll be watching Corey versus Al. So again, that's gonna be another Lux versus Corey Millhouse's Kaisa. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup. I'm gonna be curious to see what might be able to be done there at that point. So let me get joined in real quick, and then we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, very interesting tournament matches so far. And Lux has already taken down a Draven tonight. So I'm not putting it out of the ballpark that Kaisa might have a little bit of a struggle here. So that's definitely going to be something that we will need to watch here. But right now, let's see what we can do. Let's get the Lux at the top. And okay, so anyway, guys, go ahead and take your bets on who is going to be winning this round 3. Let me know in the chat, and we will see what ends up happening. But guys, this is going to be exciting. I really didn't think that Kaisa would be, or Lux would be able to really do all that much, but man, was I wrong. It's actually been a really thrilling series here. And if Lux is able to take the 3rd game, I mean, not going to be able to complain about that. So we watched Corey in game 1. And we'll see what is going to be happening in the final round. Thank you so much for the sub, my dude. Thank you. That really means a lot. And so here we go, guys, into the game. It looks like it is just starting. And we might have had 2... No, this is the same Lux. This is the same Lux. Yep. And we'll see how this game unravels here as Corey Millhouse piloting Kaisa is going to be going against Al piloting Lux. And starting with an Honest Broker is going to be a great start to this match. Oh, Brosifs, dude, thank you so much for the sub, guys. Really, guys, that means a lot. Seriously, guys, that means a lot. You really don't have to do that, but it also does help pay for the play mats. So thank you, guys, really. But I mean, so far, oh gosh, I gotta say, I love the card sharp here in this case, but it looks like the Lux is actually going to be denying that. So only 1 gold is going to be created this go around. And we could be seeing a Lux be going on the aggressive front if that is going to be the choice, but instead it looks like a Poro and a Noxus Hopeful. Yeah, you know that, you already know that's going to be coming. And so, yeah, it's like as soon as you see like a 2-drop, it's like if we can go wide, especially with a Noxus Hopeful, that is going to be such a great answer to get things moving here. So, oh, Siri, dude, thank you for the sub, my friend. Great having you at the tournament tonight. Thank you, thank you. So again, though, with that wild start going in and playing out the Jace to be able to get the Vanguard to be able to create 3 units. This is what makes Lux so scary and destructive here, because now you have all of these units out on the board. Yes, a lot of them are not a lot of might, but this is where it gets intimidating here. But still, we are going to get a gold created here with the Poro. And that's going to be a Vital Conquer, but the biggest thing is you got to be watching out for a lot of the answers now. The gear destruction isn't necessarily in game 1 for Corey Millhouse here. And we'll see what ends up happening. But again, I'm going to be very curious here. I mean, gosh, if we saw a Kaisa be able to be taken down by a Lux, I mean, I would be absolutely dumbfounded. And yeah, I don't know if... Let me double check. But yeah, we'll see if that's how it ended up happening here in this case. But it already, though, another 3 units are going to be coming out in the... And with a 1,000 Tail Watcher on top of that, this is already going to be... Yeah, that's correct. The one from there. I messaged them on that, just to be safe. but they might have missed it at that point. So a free Vanguard Armory. So again, though, we'll see what actually ends up happening if they... Right now, the Lux has a lot going for it, but again, that Forerunner is going to be very difficult to try to take out. Lux needs to start hitting the spells to be able to get the removal going so that you're able to continue this momentum here. It's going to be a long game. We have Aspirant's Climb. You have to get to those 9 points, and if you're not able to, it could be very difficult to try to win this game here. Yeah, it looks like he missed the pay for Armory. I messaged him, but I don't... And TCG Arena, but I don't think they saw it in that case. Because, yeah, they only had the 1 gold, and the gold was the cost. And units don't count as... even recruits don't count as gear, even though they totally look like a gear. But it looks like a Hex Tech Ray is going to be coming down onto the... Thousand Tail Watcher. That's going to be 3 damage added there, so it's going to be a trade at this point. Maybe something exactly what they are hoping. That might be exactly what they were hoping for in this trade, but it looks like 2 runes almost committed to. Maybe a response here. I mean, gosh, maybe what? Would you be running a smoke screen at this point? Wow, 1 person voted. That's funny. Made a poll for you guys and 1 person voted. Yeah. And so, still though, it's going to be a difficult situation if we do end up trading here, but it looks like 5 runes are going to be here, and Drag Under is going to be used here to kill the Ferris Forerunner, and 2 mechs are going to be created at that point. 1 being placed in the Kaisa zone, in the Legend zone. Okay, good. Good. But yeah, and then all of a sudden we do have the Jace coming in. And it looks like that very well could be a trade. And now 1 unit's going to be moving in. And you're going to be creating an army here, plain and simple. Thank you so much for the follow, Biohazard. Good to have you here. Glad you're in HD. And so, again, another 3 units are going to be created. But again, the big downfall of Lux is you need to not only be able to create the units, but you need to be able to have the answers. And if you're missing out on the draw here, then you're going to be very much struggling with everything else. And so, again, we'll see what ends up happening here. But Lux has 4 cards in hand, so that's at least a step in the right direction. But you're going to need to be able to maintain the barrage that is going to be coming here for Kaisa. On the plus side, we're lucky that Kaisa only has 3 cards in hand, because those 10 runes could be very scary. And we could see even a Time Warp at this point. That's not necessarily out of the question here. Because if I recall correctly, I think Corey... Does he run? He might not. I don't think he does in this build. And so here we go, starting to tap some runes to get the ball rolling. Nope, he's not committing. Gosh, he's like my freaking exes back in college. Never able to commit. All right, anyway, here we go. He's going to be attacking in instead. A little bit of difference of opinion here. Instead, going to be moving in. That's going to be a lot of might going in. 8-7. Any response, though, priority can be passed, and it looks like it very well might be, but any reaction then can be used in response. But it looks like, no, we're going to be going straight to damage at that point as the Thousand Tail Watcher falls, taking out the bots and leaving the deflect unit out instead. So an interesting choice there because, yeah, sometimes it is, if you have a lot of spell removal. But, I mean, even with all of that, now there's still 10 runes up, so a Time Warp could win the game right here. So that might have been a risk that just started paying off, but still 2-tap. Nope, it's going to be a Falling Star instead. That would have been a clutch play right there. Seriously, guys. Could you imagine? But still, a Thousand Tail Watcher is going to be... Or, no, sorry. A Falling Star is going to be targeting 2 units. That's going to make it really difficult here. But it looks like, yeah, it's just pinging 2. Oh, it's 9 points. Never mind. Yes, correct. Thank you, Biohazard. You're correctly right. They need to go to 9. I even pointed that out earlier. But yeah, they still need to go to 9. So there is an uphill climb here. And I'm going to say that this is going to be a very important turn for Lux. Needs to be able to get the removal. But I mean, a Singularity would be able to do so incredibly well. Or even an Imperial Decree. Either or would be great options here for Al to be able to have the answers. And it's crazy because if you would have told me that Lux would be giving a good game to Kaisa, and you told me that like even a couple of weeks ago or even like at the end of set 1, I would have been laughing. Like I would have been like, no, dude, there's no way. And there's the Singularity right there. That's going to be 6 damage on the Kaisa and on the Darius, and no responses there. Only 2 cards in hand for the Kaisa, and that's going to be a Lux ability to be able to draw a card at that point too, if they remember. I hope they remembered. They might not have drawn the card. I don't think they did. No, they didn't. But there's a Cull of the Week to be able to defeat the Poro on top of that, so you're really banking on that, and that's going to be the end of the game. That's going to be a scoop right after that, saying Corey Millhouse has no answers, and Lux takes game number 1. And so, I mean, already right off the bat, that's interesting. I didn't see that coming. I mean, Lux was able to find the answers. That's going to be the biggest thing here. And I'm really shocked that it was such a good answer. I mean, yeah, we did have the plays where you were able to create a lot of 1-might units. That's one of the biggest bread and butters of this deck, in that Jace is able to get out Vanguard Armory and create a lot of units. But we've already even seen that Lux has been hardcasting Vanguard Armory. So to be able to be in a finals match with Lux, that says a lot here. And I really like how that looks. And I mean, if Lux is able to take this match, that is going to be speaking volumes here. And so now instead, we're going game 2 here. Lux is on the play, but is playing the Grand Plaza. So if you have 7+ units here, you win the game. That is going to be very scary and difficult for Kaisa to possibly deal with, because if the threats are dealt with on the Kaisa side and there's enough units in the battlefield, doesn't matter how many points Kaisa ends up having, it is a GG at that point. Gosh, and already with Targon's Peak, I don't know if that's going to be the best option here, especially when having to deal with a Lux. Yeah, Bio, this is something that he did last time we watched him too, and it's interesting. He's won off it. So there we go with a Cull of the Week. Each player killing one of their units. That's going to be creating a gold, which very well could mean a Jace is coming out next turn. But again, is there going to be maybe another unit that is going to be played? Doesn't look like it, and it's going to be passed over to Corey, who has 6 and playing out a Ferris Forerunner. Now, again, the Forerunner is one of the best counters to removal decks, because you kill the unit and then 2 more units spawn from that. And so you don't get nearly as ahead as what you would be initially accepting here. And so just like that, it looks like we have a falling comet that is going to be dealing 5 damage and maybe a singular or stupefy that. Oh no, that's 6 damage. I thought it was 5 for some reason. So that 6 damage is going to be finishing off the Forerunner, and that is also going to be slowing down the Kaisa at that point from scoring another turn. That's an answer. So it looks like Darius is going to be coming in accelerated at that point, being able to still take a battlefield, readying up 2 runes. Good to see you, Roach. It's been a while. Lorcana is a little different these days. And there we go again with the hard cast of the gear. That is going to immediately be able to create the 3 units. There is nothing to accelerate, but again, Kaisa's at least getting there, being able to get units out on the board. Again, that's the biggest struggle. Lux has a lot of great removal spells, but if you don't have units to be able to score points, it doesn't matter. So again, that Vanguard Armory, I think, is probably best suited here in the Lux deck. Because I do like it in I do like it in Victor, but I think it is much better utilized here in Lux. So yeah, if you guys don't know, this tournament takes place every single week. You're able to sign up if you join the Discord down below. It's a free tournament. So what that means is you are going to be able to join. And I post the sign up link every Sunday or Monday, depending on how busy I am. And then... Oh, Cole of the Week, not Cole of the Week. I do the same thing with Consult the Past. I always say Consult of the Past. I was British in my last life. I like to add a lot of letters. I'm not American. I don't do less letters. And here we go with an Imperial Decree coming out, being able to, make a decent exchange here. That's going to be another card draw off of the Lux ability and immediately taking care of the Noxus Hopeful. I don't know how necessary. That might be a little bit of a desperation. But again, same with even like the Thunder Song coming out here. Because the Thunder Song coming out, you're not utilizing it for the abilities. You're just trying to get high-minded units. And that could be a waste at that point, because then when you need the Thunder Song's ability to stop all spells from being played, you're not going to be able to use it. And here we go with a Bellows Breath, and it's going to be repeated. So that is going to be a destruction of the backfield. If it is repeated, I'm pretty sure it was repeated. Yep, it was. So that is going to be a complete board wipe. The devastating power of Lux right here. And then creating 3 more units to populate the board and say, hey, all right, it's your turn, Corey. What you got? Now, of course, Corey still at least has 5 cards in hand, going up to 6 on the flip side with 10 runes. That still is going to be a lot there. But still, if there's another Imperial Decree, Lux has the rune count and the runes at the ready to be able to use it. A Thousand Tail Watcher, though, is going to be not accelerated. Oh, it is going to be accelerated. Never mind. Yep, so it looks like it is going to be accelerated. But here we go. Tapping 5. And a Falling Comet is going to be coming in, dealing 6 damage. And that is going to be trading here on the Grand Plaza. Still have a couple of stuff that's coming for you guys on the tournament. I got some graphics that I'm going to be working for the cards. Almost done. Yep, I am after this. The tournament usually goes till 8, so I'll eat after. So yeah, it looks like, how is that recruit alive? Good question. So it looks like we are going to be populating here for the Grand Plaza. Going to need some removal here, but that is going to be exactly 7. So right now, Al is going for the win here. And if Kaisa doesn't have the answers, I mean, it could be. I mean, even a falling star would stop the game at this point, or stop the win con at this point. So we'll see if that's going to be enough. So it looks like they're showing cards here at this point. They have a Hidden Blade and a Drag Under. Corey is showing his hand at this point. He has the Singularity, but he doesn't have necessarily much to be able to get going. He would be doing a bunch of destruction, but with no units in hand, I'm thinking this very well might be a scoop at this point. Yeah. Wow. That's going to be a scoop with a 2-0 win for the Lux here in the finals. Now that is something to see. And so just a really good option there. Oh my gosh, and 3 Vanguard Armories there. I can't believe that. But anyway, guys, that is going to be our tournament for tonight. Lux is either getting first or second at this point. Really great job on what the Lux was able to do, piloted by Al. And it ended up going 3-1, taking down a Kaisa and a Draven. So is there something there? We'll see, but this was a great tournament, and thank you guys so much for being here. Again, if you want to be a part of this tournament, the Discord down in the description below will take you to my Discord. Every Sunday or Monday, we will be posting the sign-up link. I'll be pinging you guys so you know, and you sign up. Then about an hour before the tournament starts, we have a check-in, and I ping you guys again, letting you know it's time to check in. You check in, you play on TCG Arena, and you can drop at any time. You don't have to play 4 rounds. But again, people are competing for points that get added to the leaderboard each and every week. And at the end of the 8 weeks, we're going to have a qualifying or a final tournament for the top 16 of the match. So really great to be able to see this, and love that it was such a really interesting game. I mean, we saw an Ornn going against a Volibear in round 1, really odd, really interesting. And then, I mean, we've seen Lux 2 times now being able to take down some very hefty opponents. And so all in all, guys, very impressed with how this went. Never would have guessed that Lux would have won. I mean, was that on your guys' 2026 Riftbound bingo board at this point? I don't think so. Wasn't on mine. That's for sure. And so, I mean, really great job there at that point. And going to be curious to see what else we have going on. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for tonight. Think we are going to look for someone to raid. I don't know if there is really too much going on, Prismat. See you in the stream. Good to have you, man. Hope your tournament went well tonight, too. And you're going to Vegas, too, right? I don't know if I saw that, but... So here we go, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Again, we do this every single Tuesday. Free for you guys to be able to join, and you get to compete for one of 2 playmats at the end of the season. So, a lot of fun. And if you guys ever need me to design a playmat for you, let me know. It takes me 5 minutes. So always happy to do so. Just let me know on the Discord. Anyway, guys, okay, let me get that pulled up. Stalling for time. Let's go. Boo-boo, raid channel. Here we go. And start raid, guys. So here we go. I don't know who this guy is, but we're going to raid him.
My treasure trove. And then 1, 2, 3.
Okay, here we go. And thank you guys so much again for being here.